UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Right. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Yep. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Right. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, hey, you don't want it with the dogs. No. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. Yeah. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Right. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape, the tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape, the
Shut up
tape.
and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape,
The
bro.
tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday evening here on the show. We got an absolutely loaded one for you, as always. You heard my Sunday reaction shows yesterday, reacting to all things that were week 3 of college football. The boys will get a chance to give you their reactions from the weekends tonight. Quarterbacks continuing to struggle all around college football. We'll talk about that tonight. We have a few rants scheduled from the boys. I love when I pull up the show notes after a Sunday when I have fully exhausted all of my thoughts and rants and way too passionate screams at the microphone. I love when I pull up the show notes on a Monday afternoon and the boys got takes of themselves. So I'm excited to hear those tonight. We might get a quarter of the season thoughts. Boys, can you believe we're already 25% of the way through college football's regular season?
Makes me sad.
That does not feel good. That does not feel good at all. I guess what does feel good is it's like mid-September and we're going to be playing football until late January.
Yeah.
So I feel good about that, but I don't feel necessarily good about the regular season being 25% of the way over. But hey, we got a good one for you guys tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rate, and review. And I do want to start with the news tonight. I don't expect there are UCLA Bruin fans listening tonight. I don't really expect there are Virginia Tech fans listening tonight. That being said, your football program very well could be impacted by the fact that these jobs came open 3 weeks into the college football season. Now, UCLA fires Deshaun Foster, Virginia Tech fires Brent Pry. Both deservedly, honestly, I believe. I don't think either of them had any chance of really turning those things around. I don't think Deshaun Foster was necessarily set up for success. I don't necessarily know why it went so terribly bad with Brent Pry. All right, but all that being said, guys, I don't know if you're allowed to fire football coaches 3 weeks into a football season anymore. for two reasons. One, immediate transfers ability. All right. B, or two, I should say, 3 games. They can all redshirt. You can have selective redshirts all over your roster right now at UCLA and Virginia Tech. So before I get your thoughts on that, boys, those firings, what is your take on the fact that we could be looking up in a couple of weeks and UCLA could not be fielding a roster?
Well, I mean, I hate to do this to the programs, but it's also two programs that, let's be honest, traditionally over the last 20 years have been kind of a step behind in things that make you great and in the decisions that you make.
I don't know, man. I feel like Virginia Tech was a respectable college football program less than 6-7 years ago. I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know. Like, I get the UCLA stuff. Like, I understand that era or area of the country is dominated by USC, and they don't care all that much about football. It's hard to invigorate the fan base. Not only that, the administration over there at that program do not care. But Virginia Tech, dude, for 25 years, and I know it was a coach. I understand it was Frank Beamer, but that was a very respectable football program. So much so, I always carried Virginia Tech in higher regard than Virginia.
That's I did too, honestly. And I think that maybe I'm being a little harsh on Virginia Tech, but the last 5 or 6 years of both of these programs is kind of just an example as to why they are where they are right now. And I think this decision will play into that. Like you said, you're setting both rosters up for failure because now they're going to get poached. There's going to be exits. There's going to be teams and players just absolutely quitting on the team itself to where you've got 9 weeks to go in the schedule. And I get that. In a similar fashion, they would have probably already quit anyway, simply because of how bad things were at those two programs. But I don't know. I don't think it was a good decision.
Do you think it would be better to do, like, if you are eligible for a red shirt, that you get your red shirt no matter what, but you can finish out the season? Like, you give them like an immunity?
You can't do that. No.
Well, I mean, that's my only
like
solution to this.
Just if your coach gets fired. No, you have to sit out. Like, sit the rest of the year. And then you get that year back.
I would rather that happen than what could potentially happen to these programs where you may not even you might
be able to play.
Yeah.
Like, honest to God, I thought of it last night. It could very well happen. Mm-hmm. Like, when Alabama fired, or when Nick Saban retired, it's not even a firing. When Nick Saban retired, they couldn't field a game day roster that day. You know what I mean? Like, or within a week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, they had 30 some odd transfer up and downs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you go from a roster of 105 to a roster of 65 in the middle of a football season, how the hell are you supposed to play? We had folks like Darren Mason tapping the ground saying, I can't play when we got 20 guys with COVID. What happens when you have 30 guys hit the portal?
Yeah, I guess that's the only hope that these teams have, is that because the season is still going and there are still games to play, that some guys might, stick in. It's different from when a coach retires and you're in the offseason. You can go, well, I'm entering the transfer portal now. So that might be the only difference here. But it's certainly a real problem that could present itself.
By the way, if I'm a Florida Gator fan, my hammy is awfully tight. My toe be hurting.
I mean, hell, it's been
Coach,
that way.
I don't know. I got some back spasms, Coach.
I did see that Caleb Banks is out indefinitely.
Huh.
It's tough.
Curious. Yeah, if I'm Jaden Ball, that hangnail is gnarly, man. That thing is deep. Uh-huh. You know? Mm-hmm. Tough world. Hey, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the week 3 of college football, man. It was a tremendous weekend. Let's start with the Notre Dame Texas A&M game. What did you think of that one? We watched it in the car on the way home together. What were your thoughts? I
think the biggest takeaway that we all had, and I think you said it, Jay, was that game and the Georgia game were very surprising by how many points were scored.
Yeah.
The
lack of defense.
We came into both of those matchups thinking, this is going to be a slugfest defensively. Neither team will get 30 points. I mean, that was both teams scored 40 points in that game. So that's what surprised me most about it. I think the other thing that surprised me most in turn was how poor Notre Dame's defense looked. We thought that Notre Dame had one of the best defensive back groups in the country last year, and that would carry over into this year. They did not look good at all. They gave up a ton of plays to Texas A&M. So two things that are going to have to be reassessed this year for me, for Notre Dame at least.
Yeah, I was super impressed with how Texas A&M responded to what my questions were for them heading into this football game, which was, I was curious to see how their wide receivers were going to play, because that was one of my bigger questions for them coming into the season was, what do your outside playmakers look like? And you kind of mentioned it before the show, Brooks, of like their wide receiver room does not look like the stereotypical SEC wide receiver room, like how it is constructed. Like, you don't see a clear big body guy, a slot body guy, and then someone in between. They're just kind of making it work with a lot of different body types. Marcel Reed, though, is also looking better. He's continuing to improve. I think that offense is a definite threat, but that defense has some questions.
I'll push back. Their they're making it work with one body type. 5'11", 185, blow the doors off of it with the ball in their hand. That's what KC Concepcion and Mario Cravers are. All right, that they are, oh my God, look at what these dudes are doing with the rock. I have a film study coming up tomorrow. We're going to record it tomorrow morning. That you told me not to buy into it, but they are real offensively. They're really explosive offensively as well. And Colin Klein, I predicted this offense to kind of settle in year 2, which is really year 1 for them, because last year they're up and down with Weigman and Marcel. We talked about this all offseason, how you actually get to build confidence. You actually get to build rapport. You actually get to build an identity as an offense. And now they come out here through 3 weeks and they are one of the most explosive offenses in all of college football, and I don't think it's going to fade. You mentioned it. They don't have a true X. They don't have one at all. They got a true freshman number 3 playing X receiver right now, and he's 6 foot, maybe 195 pounds, and they just kind of stick him in the corner and hope somebody goes over there and covers him, and if they don't, they'll throw him the ball. Otherwise, they are working Craver and Concepcion like nobody's business. Colin Klein is in his ever-loving bag right about now. Again, you'll see it tomorrow in the film study. I thought it was brilliant how every time they were in man coverage from Notre Dame, I got a man beater for you. We're going to stack Craver. We're going to stack Concepcion, and you ain't going to know what to do because they're going to go all over the place. And their short area quickness, guys, is ridiculous. So against man-to-man football teams, they're really, really hard to stay in front of, right? And then, what do they got to do? They got to hop in cover 3 because we're doing a bunch of RPO to them, and we're doing a bunch of jet motion to them, and we're really stretching the flats. So they hop in cover 3. Guess what they start doing? Bang, seam shots. Wop, 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 wop. Explosives down the field. Colin Klein is doing damn work right about now out there at Texas A&M, and he's really, really comfortable with a quarterback who's really, really comfortable. I got a Tampa 2 throw from Marcel Reed I'm going to show you tomorrow that is an absolute NFL throw. Now, whether or not he consistently does that without turning the football over, I don't know, but it's looked great through 3 weeks.
Yeah, again, the offense looks really good, but that defense, I continue to have questions about it. I also
hold on. I sense suspicion. I can feel it. I can sense Kirby's suspicion.
Yeah.
Right about now on my stage.
Not.
By the way, you forgot the light.
Oh damn!
It's all good. It's all good. I didn't even notice till I looked at you. It felt a little dark though.
Here's what I'll say. We have 3 weeks this season of Texas A&M showing us that, hey, this offense might be playoff caliber. This team might be playoff caliber. They're ranked inside the top 10. And this might be a lazy take, and this might be, something that you shouldn't do in sports journalism and all that things. We have about 12 seasons worth of Texas A&M finding ways to mess this up. So, and I get it, every year is a new year. We have a year last year where, hey, Texas A&M is a top 10 team and they find a way to go 9-3, 8-4. So while, yes, you're right, Texas A&M's offense looks very good this year, I'm very speculative of it, and they might change things. We saw Kirby get over the hump at Bama or at Georgia. We saw Ryan Day do it at Ohio State last year. This might be Texas A&M's year to do it. But I need more than a 1-point win against a Notre Dame team that has not won a game this season before I'm buying into that.
You know what you're dusting off? You're dusting off a Hall of Fame sports take category.
What's that?
Prove me wrong. The prove me wrong take. Hey, how about you go out and do it? You know? How about you go out and prove me wrong? That's a great Hall of Fame sports idiom take.
And I mean, it's fair too, because the reality is they have not, like, whether it's been you have a national championship winning head coach or a Heisman winner at quarterback, you guys have always found a way to falter in the months of November. So.
Chat's praising Toledo. We've lost Stretch for a couple of minutes.
Just saying.
I mean, just saying 60 burger on a conference opponent. That's pretty gnarly.
I don't know Morgan State's.
I don't know who
opponent.
it was. I was just giving you credit. You were talking about it on the ride home, and I forgot the Rockets.
60 burger.
The Rockets to the moon.
I will say, I have like a small point I want to make in the closing remarks of this Texas A&M game. Can we stop doing the thing where Tyler Buckner makes a horrible play, like it costs him the game, and we show him 15 times during the ensuing drive, a game-winning drive for Texas A&M?
They Parker Jonesed him pretty bad, aren't they?
Yeah, and I don't like it. We don't need to be doing that to a player. Like, yes, he made a crucial mistake in that football game, and it ended up costing them, but he also didn't give up 40 points in that football game. He didn't give up the game-winning play for Texas A&M. Like, there's so many other plays in a college football game that cost Notre Dame that football game.
No, Dabo Swinney. We were one play away. Oh, God.
I just think
I'm so sick of that one. I'm also so sick of what y'all think about my Sunday take of, can we stop having the third string quarterback hold field goals? Like, unless the punter has literal you-know-whats for hands, Like, make that guy sit over there on the practice field and catch short snaps. Like, what are we doing? Like, I guarantee you, $100 says Tyler Buckner has to be the scout team quarterback during practice at Notre Dame. $100.
Probably.
$100, he only gets about 15 reps of catching snaps every day. What do you want to bet?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not betting you that.
So, like, why aren't we doing the punter who's got literally nothing to do except for don't overkick, don't be over there kicking 7,000 punts because we can't have dead leg. The other 2 hours of practice, instead of diddling around or going and doing curls, why don't you come over here and catch short snaps? Just a thought. Like, the NFL figured this out 15 years ago when Tony Romo cost the Cowboys a playoff game. Yeah, we got teams out here doing it. Goofy.
I forgot.
I think it's goofy at Georgia. I think it's goofy everywhere in college football. Why?
Oh, I mean, I understand having the starter out there, to be honest. I get it. I mean, that way, like, if you ever are in need of, like, or you feel like you want to draw up a fake field goal, you're not giving up.
To say if you're ever in need of a fire drill, if we're
no,
now we got to fire the short snap.
No, but like, you're constantly putting your starter out there, so that way if you do want to do a fake field goal, like, you're not giving up a tendency, you're not showing anything different.
Okay.
So I get it. That's my only argument there for it, though. Like, clearly for a practice reason, like, yeah, it probably should be all special teams guys.
Only pushback on that one would be, in college football, name me the fake field goals that have won football games. Michigan State, that was a field goal kicker
Vanderbilt
and a punter.
Vanderbilt did it to Georgia in 2013.
Was that a backup quarterback or was that a punter holding?
I can't remember.
Heck if I know.
You don't remember it being a quarterback that cost it to you, is what I'm saying, right? What are some other famous ones?
LSU did.
LSU,
Florida,
the flip.
Yeah.
That's a punter holding that field goal. You see what I'm getting at?
What are you getting at?
I'm getting at the idea that, like, you want the backup quarterback back there for fake purposes, buddy. We don't fake field goals in college football. Not that often.
You also don't fumble snaps that often, I feel like, to cost you a game.
True.
But I understand both sides.
Yeah.
I get it.
Any other thoughts on the football game?
On Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's cooked, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule. I did look back because I was thinking, how did they manage to win the play or get in the playoffs last year? They played 4 ranked teams.
Yeah.
2 of them were Army and Navy. Army and Navy is not going to be ranked this year when you play them. USC has jumped into the top 25, so you're going to get a third shot at it. But you start the season 0-2 without a rank win. Your 2 hardest opponents, your 2 best wins on the schedule you don't have right now. So I don't see how, even if they 10-2 their way to this, I don't really know how Notre Dame gets in unless you just see conferences like the ACC and Big 12 just collapse. But yeah, Notre Dame's cooked.
I see the chat complaining about the AP top 25. I thought, like, if anything, do we think the AP's, like, dead? I feel like my timeline the last 3 weeks that the AP top 25 is coming out since football has started, we have all come to the conclusion that them folks don't be watching.
All it is a talking point until the college football playoff rankings get here. Everybody knows that those rankings do not matter necessarily, other than for the fact of we have a top 15 matchup this week in week 3, like what you had with Tennessee and Georgia. Like, that's the only purpose that it serves, but it doesn't matter at all until the college football playoff rankings come out.
Facts.
Thoughts on this really, really bad Florida loss?
Oh, man.
And sloppy performance offensively from LSU.
So I was asking Jay-Will about this before we went on air. Is there any way you can spin this into a silver lining for Billy Napier? Because here's what I'll say. All of the heat this week, or at least 90% of it, has gone to DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway played so bad in this game that they're talking about how he should just come out and say he's colorblind, and he's making all the news about him and all this. Like, Billy Napier has not gotten a lot of the heat here.
You know what they ought to do? They ought to schedule him for LASIK surgery.
Ooh.
PR spin. He couldn't spin, even if he can see, even if he's got 20/20. Just go schedule him for LASIK and be like, hey, all that's in the past. We got a good, positive future moving forward. How about that?
That's great until he throws 3 more interceptions.
Which he will.
Give him some more LASIK.
That's what I was going to get at, is it's not just the fact that he's turning the ball over, but we were sitting watching the game on the drive home, and you can literally watch it happen before it happens. Like, that last interception he threw, as soon as he started scrambling out of the pocket, I was like, he's about to throw another interception, and sure enough, there it is. So, I mean, it's just the more frustrating fact for Florida, and I think the bigger fact for Billy Napier, is you outplayed LSU to an extent, other than the fact that your quarterback was turning the ball over at a very high rate.
All right. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I am not going to allow Billy Napier to be defended here when he ran 12 men onto the field after a timeout and his horrific non-developmental quarterback project, who is a 5-star that they paid a lot of money for, is not being developed, partly because he's the offensive coordinator. So all of the defensive, all the defensive metrics we could give him, all of the things we could say about why it's not his fault, he is not the guy.
Oh yeah,
he needs to go.
I think what I'm not trying to figure we were operating on that assumption.
That was like I just wanted to make sure, because if you were a observer of this channel and it just caught that in passing the last 2 minutes, y'all be like, damn, are they sticking up for Billy right now?
No, I'm not.
No.
Actually,
that is not what's happening.
My bigger point and what I was about to say is that there's a lot more problems with LSU than what people want to talk about, and LSU should be thanking DJ Lagway for that fact, because nobody's talking about the fact that Florida had 23 first downs in the game, and LSU had 9 at one point, and they were winning by 10 points. So Brian Kelly can dismiss all the questions he wants in a press conference, but there are issues with your football team right now, and big ones. So I think that's a glare. Like, that should be a bigger talking point about this football game is, we understand Florida's not a great position. Billy Napier is cooked. Florida is cooked right now. DJ Lagway does not look great, but LSU is very suspicious right now. This is 2 weeks in a row, one game against Louisiana Tech, and now once against Florida at home in a night game in which you really didn't play that well.
You know what? You're spoiled. We play to win the game. We played to win the game. You're spoiled. That kind of question from this veteran group of media reporters, ridiculous. What'd y'all think of that, in all seriousness?
Not smart.
All right, full context. Full context. Buddy be berating him all the time, apparently.
Yeah.
The TV reporter that asked that question apparently lobs negative questions towards Brian Kelly constantly. That being said, bro, we won the game, on to the next one. Like, we can just do that, and then you can walk over to your SID like most of these guys do and tell him to go give that guy crap. Like, you don't have to do that nationally.
Yeah, not even that. The second you lose a game now, that is going to become that much harder on you. And the second things become a little bit, tense in your fan base, that's going to be used against you. You just gave everyone who doesn't like you or has the potential to not like you a bunch of ammo. And I think that's the unfortunate thing about Brian Kelly is I don't think he's that bad of a coach. I think he just makes himself so unlikable that to the point where it does it to his detriment. Like you said, all you have to do is come out and give a very classic answer, talk to the SID. You're not going viral now. You're not going all these things. It's not going to be used against you when you ultimately lose a football game. But the fan in me and the person who just likes entertaining stuff, I love Brian Kelly at LSU.
Yeah, it's good for content purposes.
I mean, we've gotten 3 years so far. We're on year 4 of Brian Kelly. So far, he has said his players should be executed. He has slammed his fist on a table and been like, I'm so mad. He's done...
It keeps happening.
He's done crazy recruiting videos. He's faked an accent. And now we've got this where you are chewing out a reporter. This is fun.
Bro, it was so funny. We watched it on the way home. That was so early in the press conference that the school live stream didn't even have 100 people watching it. And he was ripping ass in the middle of that thing, dude.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, you're probably tuning in like, oh, we got a 10-point win over Florida. Let's go check in on what Brian Kelly says. Like, oh, what is happening right now?
Lambasting.
Yeah.
First question.
I love it.
All right, guess what I've got?
What do you got?
I've got a prediction. I mean, they're waiting until these 4, regular season games are passed up for this Florida roster. They're going to get housed by Miami this weekend, most likely. And then you're probably going to see the firing of Billy Napier. So I, ladies and gentlemen, have a top 5 list of the top 5 free agents soon to be on Florida's roster. Starting with number 5, DJ Lagway. It has looked terrible. I think we have 9 interceptions in 3 football games. Not ideal. I think we have 9 interceptions to 2 passing touchdowns. Not ideal. Still a real talent. And maybe, just maybe, somebody can teach him how to see the field. I don't know. Number 5. Should be number 1, but he's played his way to number 5. Number 4, Eugene Wilson. I think we probably still got 1 good year of Eugene Wilson before he tests the markets in the NFL. Number 3, Dallas Wilson. We got like 2 more years of that guy after this year. And actually, Hey, Dallas, your hamstring hurts too. We got 3 more years of Dallas Wilson.
Dallas Wilson needs to be up in the price. He doesn't need to be redshirt, and that dude needs to be up in the price right now.
Oh, down in Florida?
Yeah, he needs to be going.
Yeah, no. Hey, buddy, the money's already front-loaded, remember? 98% of SEC rosters have already paid out their salaries. Y'all got to remember that. These kids already got their money. These kids are not having to wait until December to get their salary. They all front-loaded it to get it through House versus NCAA. Y'all remember that, right?
Right.
So there ain't no, I got to play harder so I can get all my money. They already got it in the bank account, guys. It's already sitting in the bank account. Okay, so there's literally nothing protecting these rosters the moment they fire their football coaches. Number 3, Dallas Wilson. Number 2, my man Banks. What's Banks' first name? Number
Caleb.
88? Huh?
Caleb
Banks. He already doing the indefinite injury, non-descriptive. I'm just hurting. I ain't playing. Number 1, get him out of there. I'm going to save you, Jaden Ball. If it is my last mission, I am going to make sure that Jaden Ball doesn't go another football game that's one score for 54 minutes with only 10 touches on Billy Napier's offense. Ridiculous. Jaden Ball, the most underutilized great football player in college football, and it is disgusting.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, I would have said Jeremiah Love is certainly in that conversation, but we got a record number of attempts from Jeremiah
totes.
Love. They finally did it.
5 catches out of the backfield.
And it about got you to a win, Notre Dame.
They lost. They're never doing it again.
I mean, a damn miracle. We give Jeremiah Love 28 touches and we score 40-plus points. I mean, my God, what happened?
It's amazing what happens when you do things like
They
that.
probably broke a contract, though. At least a verbal agreement.
Yeah, who knows?
Might mean you only get them for the first half next game.
I want y'all's opinions before we get on to this next football game. Real brief. What are your opinions on Lane Kiffin setting $25,000 on fire?
With what?
With him not putting Austin Simmons on the injury report list all week.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
They're going to get him, right?
You have to.
They should get him.
I think so.
Also,
I forgot about this.
I want
honestly.
people. I want to remind people too that this was something that I noticed reading up on these injury reports last year. If there was a head coach that was messing with injury reports more than any other head coach last year, it was Lane Kiffin. Mm-hmm. Lane Kiffin was switching and maneuvering all kinds of people last year, putting them as questionable, probable, doing all kinds of stuff, like day by day updates, and then in the on game day, half the names were removed from the list. So this is not new for Lane Kiffin, and that probably is no surprise to anybody that Lane Kiffin would be playing games or something like this, but can't be doing that.
He's already gotten a $25,000 fine for doing that last year, right? Will you look that up? Will you see if Lane Kiffin's gotten an SEC injury report?
I do remember there being a stern talking to him, hey, Lane,
cut this out.
We can't put 40 people on the injury report and all say probable.
And now he straight up left a guy off who was in a boot reportedly all week. I was let know of this before the game. Mm-hmm. Saturday morning, somebody said, hey, Simmons has been in a boot all week. And I'm like,
That 6.5 line makes a lot more sense.
And that's what I was going to say.
Vegas knew, but
should have known almost.
The damn hook got me.
Did it?
Yes. That and Virginia Tech, dude. Oh, disgusting.
I mean, rich enough to be like 25 G's.
Yeah, but was it worth it? Really?
Probably.
Was it though?
At the very least, you made Arkansas prepare for 2 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe they prepare for the wrong one. If you're looking that deep, AI, he probably didn't get one.
It says the last fine was $25,000 in 2024.
So he did.
On social media.
He did get fined $25,000 last year.
I said 2020.
2020? Oh,
yeah. Then
that wasn't for the injury report. It was for something else. Kirby, you have the floor, sir.
Oh, I
Go
did.
ahead and do your thing.
Yes.
And you can tell I'm real excited about what's about to happen around here.
I thought about coming on here and taking a big victory lap for this, but at the end of the day, I figured, you know what? Let's just make a video. So, Jay, run the tape for me, please.
I think Clemson is, first of all, if Clemson don't run the table in the ACC this year, I'll be surprised. Okay? I think they have the most congruent roster. I think they got the best quarterback in the conference. Okay, I had to go through my ACC list of quarterbacks right quick in my head.
I'm with you on the Clemson hype right now, purely because of the conference. You can say, oh my gosh, all you want.
Oh.
No. What you guys are smoking.
Was that a shot at us?
That Clemson is a top
was.
3 football team. I get it that Cade Klubnik is returning. I get that they lead the nation in returning production at 81%. Just because the returning production is there does not mean that they are a top talented team.
I went into the season thinking Clemson was going to dog walk the ACC. I walk away thinking that as well. Miami looked good last night. Don't get me wrong. But that defense from Clemson looks scary. They look like everything I thought they were. TJ Parker looks to me, you're doing the face and you can do the thing. Kirby, why are you skeptical on what just happened defensively?
I think that based on what we saw on Saturday and based on what we've seen the last 4 years, this team is not as bulletproof, especially in conference play, as we're making them out to be.
I'm not saying I'm dismissing last week's sloppy performance against Troy, but they righted it. Okay, we if you watch the football games, like, we excuse a lot of that most of the time on here, especially when it's a rainstorm and you come out and have a bunch of like real unexplainable bad luck mistakes against a undersized opponent and they punch you in the mouth. I think it's almost impressive you pull yourself back up and I think they win 38-10 in that football game or something like that. 37-16. 27-16.
They kept them scoreless in the second half.
It's not all that impressive.
No.
I'm telling y'all, everyone bought this Clemson hype. Do not buy in yet. Man, that felt good. That was a good video to watch.
You know what, Jay Will? He could have done one of two things. He could have come on this network and patted himself on the back. Instead, he decided to get out the makeup bag and draw a bunch of clown makeup on our face. Instead of saying, nana, nana, boo, boo, look at me. I am smart. I am a ball knower. He said, look at my teammates and how shitty they are at their job.
No.
What kind of teammate is that, bro?
It wasn't just saying.
What kind of teammate is that?
This wasn't just an attack on you. This was me going back and trying to warn you.
It sure as hell looked like an attack on me.
From the post-spring and saying, stop it. Stop buying this Clemson hype. For the last 4 years, they've been a team, which, by the way, in the past 4 seasons, Clemson has either lost to an unranked team or lost by 20 points. Sometimes they've done both. This year is no different, as they've already lost to an unranked team in week 3. They've shown you this is who they are. Dabo Swinney has told you that, so much so that J. Will has now said that Dabo Swinney is Mac Brown. Mm-hmm. I've been on this train for a while now, and I've unfortunately had to be quiet about it because, you guys were against me on that. But today is my victory lap. I saw this coming. I knew Clemson would lose a game they weren't supposed to. The roster was not adequate enough to keep up. That's all I have to say.
Bro turned around backwards and walked into the end zone.
Dude, sometimes you got to showboat.
That's what I'm saying. You did it.
I have no regrets, but...
I mean... I should have known. Here's why I failed. Here's why I'm wrong. Here's why I was wrong. They were a couple injuries away from being not good enough again. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. Antonio Williams got hurt, and now because you didn't go out, you have 3 good wide receivers at Clemson. And despite the fact that every Clemson Tiger fan in the world told me Cole Turner's good, he ain't. And I should have known. All it was going to take was Antonio Williams to be out for them to be throwing the ball 25 times for $124 minus 1 play from Brian Westcott. But by the way, was a 12-yard reception. Mm-hmm. I should have known that, hey, buddy, you sat there against Texas last year and been like, hey, why'd you wait 3.5 quarters to decide to throw the ball down the field? What's going on there? I should have known. I should have known that, Kay Klubnik is pretty good, but he's limited, and they keep getting walked around on the offensive line every single damn time. I should have known. But I just went like, oh, no, look, they're Clemson up front again on the defensive line, so maybe they'll rock fight their way to a crappy ACC.
It happens. We're all wrong. We could do the same thing about me for, I feel like, 3 months talking about, hey, Georgia's going to wear black jerseys against Georgia Tech. We're all wrong.
I mean, black jerseys is a little bit different. They're going to dog walk the ACC.
It's all right. Again, I have no regrets for what I said about Clemson because I believed it at the time.
No regrets, huh?
No, I truly don't. I mean, I don't get up here and say things I don't believe, so I don't regret saying what I believe. And it won't matter anyways when Toledo ultimately makes the playoff anyways and will look like a genius. So, just wait. Just keep on waiting.
But no, I honestly, though, I want this to be a lesson to not even you guys, everyone in the national media, of stop falling in love with people and players and teams off of the minute things that you saw last year. You saw 6 games of DJ Lagway last year, and I'm not talking to you when I say this, I'm talking to everyone. You saw 6 games of DJ Lagway last year and said, hey, this is a Heisman contending quarterback. This team might get carried to the playoffs. You saw Arch Manning for 2.5 starts and said, hey, he's football Jesus. He's going to save the day. You saw Cade Klubnik have 20 minutes of good football against a Texas team that, by the way, had trouble finishing all year last year, and said, hey, Cade Klubnik's going to be really, really good this year. Stop falling in love with little things because you want to, and actually take a look at what history says.
You know what I'm falling in love with?
What are you falling in love with?
I'm falling in love with our friends over at Sleeper.
Ooh.
I mean, why wouldn't you be over there? Why are you sleeping on Sleeper right now? Sleeper is the #1 place for daily fantasy and prop plays. Sleeper is a fantasy sports plus real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world. 6 million active users. 6 million folks over there using Sleeper. You should be one of them today, while earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. Use promo code Brooks today, and you'll get up to $100 deposit match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms for use for details. Sleeper code, promo code Brooks over there. Shout out to those friends of ours at Sleeper. Guys, Miami looks legit.
Yeah,
Miami looks legit. I said on the Sunday show, and I'm sure you guys agree, 12 months ago, they find a way to make that a fourth quarter fist fight. Because of the 2-hour rain delay in the middle of it, because of the sloppy wet track, like they find a way to allow USF to linger in that football game a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a completely different, just from a DNA standpoint, Miami team. And we talked about it all last year. Miami kept winning these games. I don't feel like they deserve to win these games. They should have lost to Virginia Tech. I think it was Duke that they were in a dogfight with for the fourth quarter. Like, it felt like every week, to the point where I cursed them last year because I was so tired of seeing it, where, man, this Miami team just keeps finding a way to win until they didn't against Georgia Tech and Syracuse. Their luck ran out. This year, they've never even left room for that. They've just been a very, very solid team all the way through.
I mean, they are playing really good football. They're certainly the most impressive team in the ACC. They certainly feel like a lock to eventually make the college football playoff. That's how I view them right now. I think that I'll have my true feelings thought out when they play Florida State on the road. That'll be like the ultimate of like, okay, now we get a really good...
You're not going to get a vibe check this week against the Gators?
Probably not. Probably not. No, it depends on what DJ Lagway does, and if he's doing what he did previously, then it ain't going to matter. So I think that that'll be the final like indicator of just how good this Miami football team is. But I think they're really good. The defensive line looks really good. It's a sound football team, and the wide receiver unit is better than what I think most expected it to be this year. And Carson Beck has certainly reverted back to what he was in 2023.
Yeah, and it's honestly not just the team that I like from Miami, it's their schedule too.
For sure.
I think it's literally Florida State's left, and
it's 11-1. It's so 11-1 at floor.
Florida State, I think, I'm pretty sure is the last ranked team on the schedule right now.
They are.
So we have one college football playoff lock right there, and we have another one in Oregon. Oregon's already 11-1, like just floor.
It seemed like Oregon's already locked before the season even started.
Yeah. And that's the way we felt about him, and we felt about the schedule. That being said, Dante Moore and that offense is far better and far further ahead than we thought they were ever going to be.
Yeah, we were concerned coming in. It was like, man, Dan Lanning has really had to rely on some really good transfer portal play from the quarterback position, and we don't know if you're going to get that from Dante Moore just because of the experience. Yeah, he started at UCLA, but Bo Nix was a guy who had 2 or 3 years of SEC starts. Then he had Dylan Gabriel, another guy who was UCF starts, and then Oklahoma starts. Dante Moore didn't have this, and it's firing on all cylinders right now.
Jumped out to a hot start out there. Dante Moore, one of the quarterbacks that is playing really, really well, boys, but there's a lot of these quarterbacks, and it's been a very, very popular talking point so far this season is just how bad some of these quarterbacks have played, right? The Arch Mannings of the world. Cade hasn't looked great. DJ Lagway sucked. It's been a lot of bad quarterback play, and we want to go through some of these, but we also want to highlight some of the guys that have played really, really well. I'll start with those guys. Let's start with the praise, okay? There's been a lot of negative talk about quarterback play so far. Carson Beck's played electric so far this year. He's played standard Carson Beck football, elite from the pocket, and they have a run game down there at Miami with a really good offensive line so far. Francisco Mendoza is lighting it up there at Indiana. Joey Aguilar has played really, really well. Marcel Reed has played really, really well. John Mateer, Diego Pavia, Dante Moore, Gunnar Stockton played great this past weekend. Morton out there at Texas Tech played pretty well. I put Castellanos and Haynes King in the same category right there of dual threat quarterbacks playing really, really well. Pavia's throwing it down the field really, really well right now. And Taylor Green has obviously played elite. But some of these guys coming into the year like, hey, Ole Miss folks were hyping up Austin Simmons. We thought that was going to be something. I don't know. They might be playing the D2 guy they just transferred in moving forward. That guy played, Chambliss played really, really well this weekend out there. Arch has looked like crap. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the scariest thing to me about this, guys, is I don't know if it's fixable in season, because you know how nerdy I am about quarterback mechanics, how important I think they are in terms of consistent down-to-down accuracy. He has none of that. That's how we go 14 plays without completing a pass. All right, that's how we look like we look in terms of the balls. The balls are all over the place right now for him, and it's because his mechanics are all over the place, and I don't know how to settle him down, because I've said for years, you guys have heard me when it comes to quarterbacks, we cannot change them in season. When the bullets start flying, we are who we are. When we get ready to go to war, training camp's over with. We have no opportunity to rebuild your structure or rebuild your platform. You just are who you are. And right now, and they rightfully so, if I were a Texas fan, I would be scared. I would be terrified about what our ceiling looks like this year, because our quarterback is very, very streaky and not dependable necessarily at all right now. And the only thing that I think is going to calm him down is for him to calm down. And I just don't know if it's going to happen. Guys, have y'all watched it? Y'all seen it?
It's not good.
No ability to no ability to take it off, no ability to play just calm football. Everything's rattled. Everything's all over the place. Every ball's thrown late and hard. It's not good right now.
I think, I'm starting to notice this trend too, and this happened in last year's quarterback class as well, where preseason, the NFL mock drafts are dropping. It's like, this year's quarterback class is loaded. You know, the likes of Carson Beck being projected as a first rounder last year. Quinn Ewers was certainly highly touted as a draft prospect at that time. Jackson Dart, but Shadur Sanders was certainly one of these as well. And then you get through the season and it's like, well, a lot of these names teetered off and they didn't end up being what we thought they were going to be. And that's happening again this year. No disrespect to Lenore Sellers, but he has not played like first overall pick material yet. Cade Klubnik is not playing like a first rounder right now. DJ Lagway certainly isn't playing like one right now. People were already saying that Arch Manning was going to be first overall pick material, and he hadn't even started a full season yet. So we have to be very mindful and very cautious and very patient when it comes to these quarterbacks, because you're getting a class like the names that you rattled off. Not many of those guys are being discussed as upcoming tier 1 draft prospects. Maybe other than John Mateer. Other than that, it's a bunch of guys that it's well, they're good college quarterbacks, but we'll have to wait and see.
You just mentioned my take on Cade. I think Cade is a really good college quarterback. I would have never drafted him in the top 32. Okay, he's physically an A- across the board with A+ competitive traits, with no help around him right now. And that's not going to win in college. I also think he makes fairly bad decisions once or twice a football game. And he's done that since he's been a young player, where it's shouldn't have kept that ball. What are you doing? Why are you trying to call a timeout? You're not allowed to call a timeout. There's certain things that he does where it's almost like he short circuits every once in a while. But man, he's 6'2", he's 200 pounds. He's not 6'5", 230. He's an A- arm strength guy. I would put him a flat 88, maybe not even A-, maybe a B+. Arm talent, he doesn't have a ton of it. You're not going to see this guy do a bunch of fun stuff. He's very methodical. That's why when we were out there at Elite 11, you guys weren't there, but it's why he was so methodical in his working habits. He has to be cookie cutter because he doesn't have a bunch of fun stuff, right? He's an A- athlete. He's slippery, but you've never heard anyone describe him as an elite athlete. He's slippery. There's a difference, right? He's lunch paily with his athleticism, if you will. And he's an A+ competitor, but he has very little around him, especially when Antonio Williams is out. That being said, still got to be a little bit better. Also, I'm looking very, very weirdly at Garrett Riley. Very, very odd. Now, I know we had NFL wide receiver as a first-round pick that can't seem to catch the football out there at TCU. What was Buddy's name? War number one. Plays for
Quinn
the Chargers.
Johnson.
Awful in the league. Awful. But he was great at TCU. And Max Duggan, not an NFL football player. But he was great at TCU. Mm-hmm. They were great at TCU. They look boring at Clemson to me every time I study them. They don't look like schematically clean nowadays. And that's very, very weird to me.
I agree.
Lagway is just way too many risks. That we are teetering into territory where it's just like talented can't play the position. I said that on Sunday. And by the way, you mentioned like we watched 6 or 7 games last year. We were a network that was like, yeah, buddy, you're talented, but you make way too many bad decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the film study because I think we recorded that one. And you were just breaking down like he makes 3 throws a game where it's like you should not be even trying to make that throw.
And of those 3, 2 of them, he's going to come off and say, Coach, I didn't even see that guy. Mm-hmm. That crap scares me. I would almost be like, not to make this a local hour topic, I would almost venture if I were head coach onto the Kirby Smart territory of this. If you turn the ball over in practice, you will not play for me. You won't. If you turn the football over ad nauseum in practice when we are not hitting you, you can't play for me. Now, here's the real problem. They don't know because the dude don't practice. You know, they don't know if he's a turnover problem. They don't know if he can eliminate these things because he cannot practice. It wasn't a calf strain, by the way. It was a hamstring the entire time, I was told this weekend.
Oh, was it?
That was Fugazi. It was the same hamstring that he had problems with last year. Which, by the way, if you know anything about twitchy athletes, once you start having repetitive hamstring problems, you tend to have repetitive hamstring problems. Anybody ever clean that up, by the way? Anybody ever, as a football player, have repetitive hamstring problems and then one day it just stopped?
You know, I want to say Arian Smith fixed this.
Because he stopped running track?
Perhaps. The thing that would, like, kind of what you're getting at right here with the Lagway is typically, you know, when a quarterback throws an interception, they come onto the sidelines, they're talking to the head coach, and they're pointing or talking about something. Like they're saying, like, oh, I saw this, whatever. Yeah. Lagway comes over to the sidelines, and it's just, I don't know. Like, he's just like in shock over and over and over. And that clearly tells me, like, he doesn't see anything. He's not seeing the picture correctly at all.
What else scares me about him? We were driving home thinking he was going to end up getting carted off in that football game. He takes so many damn hits. Why?
Get on the ground, please.
Get on the ground. Like, no situational awareness, no positional awareness, no general ability to know what's going on around us. We're just out here getting murdered. Now, some of it was, man, I'm just out here trying to compete because I can't see. I'm hitting everything in white right now. I can't do nothing but compete with my legs and body. So I understand some of it, but dear Lord, man, the inability to protect ourselves while also the inability to protect the football was staggering in that football game.
Completely agree.
Speaking of quarterbacks who are hurt and not necessarily playing well, Garrett Nussmeier apparently reported hurt today, been playing through injury all year.
A torso injury, I believe it was.
Something intermediates, while also not having the ability to run the football. So that doesn't necessarily feel great.
Why is this just not getting reported?
Well, you know, we scored 20 points at home and only got 10 first downs with a leader for the Heisman.
That's why I'm raising my eyebrow. Yeah. Oh, it's very rich that all of a sudden when we
got a torso?
Yeah, we haven't surpassed 30 points this season, and now all of a sudden, hey, the quarterback's hurt, guys.
Speaking of quarterbacks hurt and not playing well, again, what's going on in South Carolina? Now, I know concussion. We're going to miss another game this weekend. If you can't tell by the Vegas line.
Oh, dude,
I think they're
12 and a half.
12 and a half.
Fading.
Yeah.
Kind of bad.
12 and a half point dogs against Missouri this weekend. I think that's on the road in Columbia.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Well, you can't say in Columbia because they're both Columbia.
It's in Missouri. It is in Missouri.
Man, what do you think about what's going on in South Carolina offensively, Jonathan?
Well, I think that there's a lot of things. One, I think it's one that we've talked about for South Carolina, which is they're very boomer bust, and that's again what happened this past week. And now again, like, you have to take everything that I'm saying right now with a grain of salt. No, like, with the knowledge that I know that Lenore Sellers did not finish this game. Okay, I understand that Luke Doty is the backup quarterback for them, and he finished that football game for them. But this is a consistent occurrence. Number one, your offensive line continues to be bad, and this was my biggest concern for South Carolina, and why during the offseason I had a lot of caution and a lot of questions about this team going into this year because it cost Lenore Sellers games last year because you couldn't protect him and he had to miss a couple of games. And now he missed the Vanderbilt game and he's going to likely miss the Missouri game because your offensive line continues not to be able to protect this guy and he's having to play superhero ball for you. And on top of that, there's no consistency with his offense. But
no, I was just going to say, it looked like a relatively benign hit.
yeah, it didn't look all that horrible.
No, I watched the linebacker go in with his hands up and hit with his face mask. Mm-hmm. It looked relatively benign to me.
Yeah. But the bigger thing and I think that we certainly should have talked about this more this offseason that I wanted to bring to light today is the fact that Mike Shula is the offensive coordinator right now for the South Carolina Gamecocks, took over from Dow Loggins last year. Now, Mike Shula was on the staff last year as an offensive assistant, and there's a big thing missing from his resume when you go look at it. Now, this is a football lifer. He has been around the offensive side of the football a long time. Like, it dates all the way back to 1987 when he was a player. 1988, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and has been in the coaching world since then.
Is he Tom Shula's son? Sorry to cut you off.
No. He is the son of Don Shula.
Oh, Tom.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
You know?
Yeah, Don Shula. So you'll see that he has a lot of experience coaching offense in the NFL. There is not a single year that you will find where Mike Shula coached offense at the college level. And he has not called plays at all in football since like 2016.
So we haven't called plays since 2016, and we've never called plays in college football?
Yeah. And haven't called them in 10 years.
I was a huge proponent of their OC last year. And we talked about it quite often, how they were getting to explosives in the passing game, how they were setting things up. And it's not just that Dow Loggins left that job to go take the head coaching job at App State, but he also took the quarterback's coach, who's damn good. All right, he's a young football coach, and y'all going to hear about moving forward. I just don't want to blow up his spot right now. But that is a nucleus of football minds that just up and left the room. Also, by the way, third coordinator for this kid in 3 years of being in college football. Mm-hmm. All right, he had Kitchens the first year, right? Or no. Buddy that left to go to Nebraska that got fired from Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Look him up. Forgot his name. But anyways, that guy left, and then Loggins coached for a year and turned it around, had him playing his best football, and now Shula's kind of struggled, to say the least.
What does this say about Shane Beamer at this point now? Because this is the second time where we've come into a season with really high expectations.
It's not even about that. If you remember, Kirby, the first SEC media days that I was credentialed for that he was at, do you remember the question I asked him?
Yeah, about not having
an offensive or defensive background,
coordinating
right?
experience.
Not having a play calling coordinating background. And he spun it like you ought to as a football coach into, well, I've had special teams background, which means I've stood in front of all the team, right? I've had the ability to speak the entire room and watch all of football, right? And he spun it that way. But here is the blowback to having a non-traditional hiring process, right? When you hire a guy like Sam Pittman, when you hire a guy like Shane Beamer, when you hire a lifer who has never been a play caller, when it doesn't go right on one side of the football, he can't go over there and fix it. All right. If something goes tragically wrong defensively for some reason in the next 6 or 7 years, if Glenn Schumann ultimately takes a head coaching job, Kirby Smart going to go over there and fix that stuff. All right. He can do that. If something went wrong defensively for 25 years over there at Alabama, Nick Saban could go over there and fix that. If something goes wrong this year at Ohio State offensively, Ryan Day can go over there and grab that and fix that. If something goes wrong offensively or defensively for Shane Beamer, he just throws his hands up and they ain't got no answers. So that is my issue, and that's the drawback. Now, they're great special teams, and they win games. They've won games on special teams already this year, and that's awesome. But you are tragically bad offensively right now. They've won all their games on special teams.
I think I saw a stat today where if you go back, I think 3 weeks into last season and then also into this year, South Carolina has not scored more than 17 points on offense, not counting special teams or defensive scores, has not scored more than 17 points on offense in like 6 weeks of play.
I thought he was going to take a massive leap. I expected and predicted a massive leap. Hell, this is my Heisman pick going into the season. But here's the reality. I've gone from this will be the Heisman to QB1 off the board to, hey, we might be back next year. All right, and here's why. We had 2 mediocre starts that didn't look great. We didn't show a whole lot of development. Things around us are crumbling. We're having to play hero ball for 2 weeks. Then we're going to miss essentially 2 games, right? We're going to miss the start last week against Vandy, basically. We got knocked out in the first quarter or first half. And then we're going to miss this week against Missouri. I'm breaking news. I don't expect Lenore Sellers to play this week. So now we're only going to have 10 regular season football games. And guys, he's going to come back from a concussion after 4 weeks of a first month of football. The whole team not playing great, going down a stretch of Kentucky, at LSU, Oklahoma, Bama, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, a break against Coastal, and then you host Clemson, which who knows what Clemson's going to be by the end of the year. But nonetheless, that's a gauntlet, ladies and gentlemen. And so here's the deal. If he goes 10 starts this year, all right, 12 last year? We got 22 starts that equivalent or basically average out a season of 2,800 yards throwing, hero ball, not really playing the position all that clean. But man, look at the traits. That's going to be like the 42nd overall draft pick. They're going to draft that kid like Jalen Hurts is what it's going to be. So if you're Lenore Sellers and you have the opportunity to come back for another year in college and make $3 million, $4 million in NIL, you probably do that. But here's my question. What are you coming back to? What are you coming back to if you do that? What's going to be there for you at South Carolina? Is it going to be another promising, ooh, we are talented, but no, we're really not because we don't have enough money and we went out and bought bargain groceries out of the transfer portal, which is your point that you've been making all offseason. Guys, they ain't buying great football players out of the portal. They're getting a bunch of dudes from Charlotte.
Yeah, it was guys from Charlotte. It was an edge out of Campbell, I want to say. It was Jadeveon Clowney's younger brother, I believe is who that is, related to Jadeveon.
Cousin, by the way. I don't think that's his brother. Yeah.
And like it felt like the entire offseason, South Carolina was just taking bodies because they had to take them. And like I see South Carolina fans asking the question of, well, why are we starting Luke Doty and not Aaron Nolan? Well, that probably is another example of you needed another quarterback in your room. You had to take one, all right? And then do it that with your own information. I'm not going to tell you what I think about Aaron Nolan, but I think you're kind of being told what your staff thinks about Aaron Nolan. Nonetheless, though, if I'm Lenore Sellers, I don't come back, I go to the NFL. Or if I don't want to transfer, I'm going to the NFL.
You're going to bring that up.
I was going to say, I mean, we always talk about transfer portal. Why doesn't he do that?
According to Lenore Sellers' dad, he got thrown all kind of offers this offseason. His dad told people that Clemson offered him $4 million.
I mean, I'm sure you got offers, but you had a reason to stay. People were very high on your team. You've been, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a local kid, right?
Yeah.
Recruiting-wise. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So... yeah, no, I'm going to be the hometown hero and stay with this South Carolina team that everyone thinks has a chance to make the playoffs this year. That's not happening this year, it doesn't look like. Why not go somewhere else at this point?
Let's dust off a take right here, boys. Have y'all noticed the direct correlation between you are not a big spending roster, but yet you spent a lot of money on the quarterback and now the rest of your roster is some poop? I'm talking to you, Duke. I'm talking to you, South Carolina. I'm looking at Georgia in the inverse. All right, in the inverse, don't have a high expensive quarterback. Man, look at all them weapons left and right, scoring 44 points on the road. It's not affecting Miami. All right, when you pay $4 million for a starting quarterback and you got a $27, $30 million budget or whatever the hell they're working with, it don't impact you. All right, it doesn't impact Texas when Arch Manning's playing like poop and the rest of the roster is really good and they got a lot of money tied up in the quarterback. It's impacting some of these other rosters that spent way too much money on the quarterback and then went and bought out, JUCO transfers at the defensive end position, or went and got wide receivers or running backs from Utah State or Utah Valley or wherever the hell South Carolina went spending money on because they ain't got enough to be paying a quarterback $3 million and then find good players around him.
Yeah, that's why, again...
Oh, also, by the way, Dylan Stewart got a massive raise out there in South Carolina this year.
And that, again, like that goes back to my concerns of everybody wanted to talk about South Carolina's offense going into this year, but nobody wanted to bring up the defense, and I was trying to get across to the point of how good that defense was. Not just the fact that they had a bunch of NFL bodies on that defense, but the fact that they had playmakers on that defense. They had guys that were impacting the football game continuously, like turning offenses over all left and right constantly, like winning them football games because that offense was getting put into positions to immediately strike into the end zone because they were getting the defense was turning people over constantly. And I feel like that got so overlooked because it's like, well, they got Dylan Stewart, they got Jalen Kilgore, they got DQ Smith.
Weren't they like a plus 14 turnover ratio team last year or something crazy?
Yeah, I mean the defense was really good last year.
I will give you credit, Jonathan. You were sniffing 8-4 the whole offseason. You were all over it.
Yeah, man, I was. Something felt really off about it.
Here's my question, because we came into 2024 with hey, Shane Beamer, that seat might get warm.
He's extended to 2030. It's done.
You don't think that if this year
they're not reneging on
if they're 6-6, it's not like, hey,
no,
we might need to have a talk about Shane Beamer going in 2026.
I think if that's the case, we need to have a talk about expectations again.
He has a serious scapegoat right now too, because everything that I've seen from South Carolina fans right now is Mike Shula, Mike Shula, Mike Shula, Mike Shula.
That happened late cycle, didn't it? Didn't Dow take that job at App State? Will you Google this for me? When did Dow take that job at App State? I think it was in January. I think it was in February.
Yeah, I do remember it being a little late.
We're late. Like, we have to just inward promote. We can't put a full search party together. Like, I think this was let's keep it in-house. Let's keep the verbiage similar, because it was probably our last year with Lenoris. Let's not go out and hire anybody big.
December 7th.
All right, so December 7th. So they had plenty of time, actually.
Yeah.
They had bowl season.
Not looking great.
No. It'll be interesting.
Honestly, I've seen other coaches, great coaches, make this mistake. There was a very famous one. It's a very famous one. In-house promotion of James Coley, and then we got to go get Monken 2 years later.
Yeah.
So it happens. It happens to great football coaches. They ultimately go on to win national titles. I don't think this is the case, though.
No, I don't think South Carolina's going to be competing for national. They don't have the roster and the firepower. But like I said, I do think that you might, if Lenora Sellers enters the draft this year, you might need to have talks about 2026.
Speaking of on fire, my boy Kirby's got a rant.
Oh, yeah, I do. I forgot about this, actually. All right, so one of the more forgotten storylines of this week, and it wasn't really even a storyline, was Alabama played Wisconsin, hosted Wisconsin, and like many expected, beat the hell out of them. I think the final score was like 38-17, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay.
38-14.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Wisconsin had a late fourth quarter touchdown to make the game. I mean, Alabama dominated this game. Following the game, safety Bray Hubbard is asked about, hey, what's your thought on that last safety last second touchdown where you're trying to keep them out? And he gives this quote, "The standard is 0 points. At the end of the day, that's what we are chasing every week. I mean, that touchdown, we didn't want that touchdown to happen. We're freaking mad about that." Now, on the surface, I'm fine with this quote. In fact, if this came from a Nick Saban team, I would have probably believed it and said, absolutely, this is the Alabama standard. But this is coming from a team that was pissed about losing to Vanderbilt, only to lose to Tennessee 2 weeks later. And then they were pissed about Tennessee, only to lose to Oklahoma 3 weeks later. And then a month later, after being pissed about that, they got boxed by Michigan. Then you spend all offseason talking about how we're fixing the culture around here. We're doing things right. We are mad about how 2024 was not the Bama standard. We got to get back to the standard. You come out in week 1 against Florida State, you're sluggish, you look lazy, look lethargic, just running around jogging. Bray Hubbard was one of the people that went viral in this clip. And now your players are telling me that impressor 0 points is your standard, and that you're freaking mad Wisconsin scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Do me a favor, do everyone in the national media a favor, and please stop pretending that you guys have fixed your culture within 2 weeks because you suffered yet another embarrassing loss. You had an entire offseason to do this and failed. Now, before I get any further, you are talented enough to beat anyone. Hell, you might beat Georgia in a week from now. But you guys are not done losing games that you are not supposed to because your culture is not fixed. I don't believe that in 2 weeks, because you're really mad about how embarrassing the Florida State loss was, that you went and fixed your culture, that Kalen DeBoer did a complete overhaul. That's what the offseason was for, and it didn't get done. I'm not buying Alabama fixing this.
My boy dusted off 2 shut up and show me takes today. I'm so damn happy. I'm so damn proud. Shut up and show me. That's what Christian Kirby's saying today. Shut up and show me.
Yeah.
That's awesome stuff right there from you, Kirby.
Thank you.
I'm with you. Like, I was with you with the stop telling me about player meetings, dude. Go get your ass up on Sunday and go do some extra running because y'all out of shape. I'm with you on that one. Just results based, get out there and do it. Hey, we got a whole nother hour coming up right after the break, and it's a great one. Welcome
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
You know what's unfortunate, boys? Well, I guess it's fortunate that I have a plethora of quantity of bottles in the fridge in there, but I'm all out of H2O.
No.
You know, got to get a refill, got to go get a re-up on my H2O. Where would I do that? H2O.com. H2O.com, and it's a product with a purpose right here with H2O. Every bottle helps bring clean water and better health to someone who needs it. Scan to follow your drops journey, the lives it reaches, the ripples it creates, and the real changes it makes. Your purchase, your impact. The management team out there has been in Africa for like 2 months, it feels like, building fresh water wells with every piece of product sold over there at H2O. It helps that product out, helps that cause out. Head over to H2O and support that cause and product today. Hey, we got a loaded local hour for you guys today. Takeaways from Georgia's overtime win over Tennessee. We're going to talk about that panic meter, whether or not you should be panicking about this defense. We got game balls to give out as well today. Jay Will's got a take about something that the Tennessee student section does out there, or rather the athletic administration does with the student sections. I think that one, maybe, honestly, I think you might need to dust that sucker off at the top. I mean, it's such a great take. Maybe we'll hold it. And Josh Heupel gets some hype from Christian Kirby tonight on the local hour as well, and much, much more. But boys, let's start with your takeaways. I had a full 30-minute segment on Sunday's breakdown just to talk about this here foosball game. So what were your takeaways?
First takeaway I had, and this is purely from being a Georgia fan my entire life,
Homer.
It still feels kind of weird to win these games. There's still a small part of you as a Georgia fan that thinks, man, they just can't pull this one out. Because for so long, Georgia didn't win these games. And you can say that it was Mark Richt's fault, or you can say it was whoever's fault. The reality of it is, I think that something happened in that 2021 season to where Georgia started winning games like this.
The Missouri game.
Not even that. Like whatever happened in 2021, the culture changed, the DNA of that team changed to where you got put in situations of games that you typically don't win, or the odds were stacked against you. Yes, the Missouri game is one of them. I think back to the Peach Bowl. I think back to different games like that. Georgia has seemingly found a way to win all of these games since then, with the exception of a handful here and there. Alabama last year, and there's been others sprinkled in. But for the most part, the DNA has fully changed.
I mean, the thing that I continue to think about is like the amount of things that we said that Georgia cannot do this, Georgia cannot allow this to happen, this, that, and the other. All those things happened in this football game, other than like turning the ball over. Georgia didn't turn the ball over, but you allowed explosives at a high rate. You allowed Tennessee's offense to operate at will. I mean, you did everything, again, like that you could not do in this football game. Like, you didn't even take advantage of your opportunities in the red zone. You were having to settle for field goals.
Yeah.
And you still found a way to win this game. And I know, like, well, if Tennessee makes a kick, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but that's besides the point of the fact that we said that Georgia could not get into a shootout with this football team, that you could not allow Tennessee to score more than 30 points in this game if you wanted to win, yet you did, and you still found a way to win. I mean, that's what I keep going back to, is like, this team proved a lot of people wrong about what they thought they were going to have to do to win.
I mean, I left last week on Thursday. The final thought was, if you run the ball and play defense and get out of there with a win, you're going to have a hard time coming on here on Sunday and finding me not telling you this is a college football playoff team. And this is not someone who is worthy of winning a national title. And little did I know, they're going to go out and put up 44, 500 yards of total offense, all right, with a first-time road starter and an absolute liability at right tackle. They had an absolute liability at right tackle for 55 minutes of this football game. Could not block a soul and score 44 points on the road. No false starts, no turnover, or one turnover, a fumble. Oh, my Lord. Did the pick get called back?
Yes, the gunner. Puglisi had one on the Hail Mary.
Puglisi, yeah. So 2-minute one.
Which, by the way, props
that
to
was
Kirby.
Crazy.
Props to Kirby for making sure you don't mess up Gunner's ratio.
Yeah.
That's exactly why he did that.
Also, what you did the last time you had a Hail Mary attempt in the SEC championship game, your starter missed the rest of the season. So
that's why he did it, by the way. For those of you who...
No, I thought it was the Puglisi throws it further. Didn't they pull Stetson a couple years ago? to put someone in there to throw one?
I don't believe so.
I can't remember.
They pulled the starter a couple years ago to let the backup chunk one. I remember it.
I was under the impression
because he got asked about it post game, and it was just like so and so throws it further. It's that simple.
I was honestly under the impression that the last 3 games, Georgia Tech, Texas, and Notre Dame, we've had to try to have deep shots down the field at the end of the half, and they've all ended up fumbles. One of them will cost us our quarterback. We can't lose Gunner. Put Ryan out there. Throwing the football far and hard doesn't take playing the position cerebrally.
No.
So
your receivers are going here. Chuck it up.
Another takeaway I had from this game was that a lot of people came out of it and said, "Man, we watched Gunner Stockton grow up before our eyes." I don't think Gunner grew up in this game. I personally feel like the Gunner Stockton that we thought was walking into Knoxville, Tennessee, was the Gunner Stockton that walked out. He showed us his ceiling. He showed us what he's fully capable of, and he showed us what this offense can be when he's playing at his best. But I don't feel like Gunner Stockton did anything that made me go, "Oh my God, I didn't know he had that in his game." Or I didn't know he could do that. It was very much what we expected from him. We had high expectations, and he lived up to them, but I didn't come away saying, "Man, I didn't know Gunner had that side of him." He grew up today.
You are who we thought you were.
Which is a good thing, and I don't mean that to be demeaning and say Gunner Stockton didn't grow up. It's just the lights were bright, and he was up for the moment. It was the same thing we saw against Texas, and in Notre Dame, he didn't play poorly in that game either. This is the same thing. First road start against Tennessee, 100,000 fans screaming, lots of pressure. You have to consistently go out there and perform. He did that.
I think there was a crucial point or a crucial stretch in this football game that didn't maybe ultimately win Georgia's game, but it certainly allowed them to get back in and ultimately take a lead. And from the second quarter until about, I'd say, halfway through the third quarter,
offensive stagnation from Tennessee.
And you clearly did something, or not something, the defense made changes to get Joey Aguilar off of his game and make him feel uncomfortable. So that was the crucial point in that football game where you could tell, Joey Aguilar clearly does not feel comfortable right now, and I think that it also was showing, whether it was the Raylan Wilson hit or him throwing 2 interceptions, which weren't his fault completely, but still, there were misses that were happening constantly over that quarter and a half stretch for Joey Aguilar, and Georgia goes on a 17 unanswered points run, and then they ultimately take the lead in the third quarter as well. That's what maybe didn't win Georgia the game, but it got them back in, and that was the point where it's that's what you can't do. When you have Georgia down 14 points on the road, you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing, and Tennessee just couldn't do that, and credits to Georgia's defensive staff.
Here was the change Kirby talked about. We changed the picture on them. Early in the football game, they were getting cooked with a lot of crossers over the middle of the field, a lot of run after the catch opportunities. So what Georgia ultimately did was they rolled one of the safeties down into the box, started going from a 2-high look to a 1-high look, and ultimately starting to crack down and shrink that space on those crossing routes. All right, that ultimately was the decision I thought, or the changing point I thought, between what they were doing or defensively from Georgia, and it made a major difference. That's why you started seeing number 8, Jonell, start really striking people in this area of the football field, really hitting those folks, all right, on the hashes as they get outside of the tackle box. The other thing that they were doing, played a lot of mint front, didn't they, Jonathan? If they were ever into the hash, they would drop the jack over into that area as well and start to really make collisions on those crossers and force Tennessee's hand to either get vertical or start back their cover 3 schemes, which they ultimately got to as well. It was quite a chess match between those two coordinators, offensively and defensively, between Georgia and Tennessee. Did y'all have any other things? I got a bunch of film notes, but I want to get y'all's full thoughts on this football game before I dump that.
I've got a few more takeaways from this.
No, you're good. I'm just giving him the...
Okay, my bad. First one, or not first one, but I think it's the third take at this point. You won this game in the offseason. The moves that you made to acquire talent won you this game. Take Zachariah Branch, Josh McCray. I don't want to say Colby Young because he was here last year, but Noah Thomas. Guys like that were the deciding factor in this game. Obviously, Josh McCray has 2 huge rushing touchdowns, 1 to win the game. Zachariah Branch, multiple 3rd and 4th down conversions, the screen that went for the touchdown, the 2-point play. Those types of players are what Georgia needed, what they didn't necessarily have last year. You won this game in the offseason.
And I think, too, Georgia showed that they're able to change pace on offense. They come out of the half and they go on a 13-play drive with 12 rushing plays and they go and score a touchdown. That to me
zapped the energy out of the stadium.
Yeah, and that too. Like the atmosphere at that point was dead until, of course, Tennessee finds the end zone again, and then it reignites that place again, and they got extremely loud. But they doing that, and then they find some explosive plays. Like they hit Colby Young on the first play of the game for a deep shot, or Georgia's first offensive play of the game for a deep shot. Really gets the offense going. Like they found explosive plays. They showed that they can lull you to sleep. There's a multitude of ways that Georgia showed, like, we'll beat you at this, we'll beat you at that. We can do this, we can do that. Like both teams offensively were in their bag the entire time.
Yep.
All right, this is my last one. And Jay Will, you made this a what if I want to say a couple months ago, and it came true for me on Saturday. London Humphreys is your Kearis Jackson this year. He's not the go-to star receiver that you have. He's not the oh my God playmaker. We need to, have two bodies ready to stop this guy at all times. But he is reliable when you need him to be, and he makes impressive catches, and he is a hard football player. And that is all that you needed for Georgia this offseason. You needed those guys to step up. Kirby Smart talked about his fire, passion, and energy and all those types of things. He's a leader of this team. London Humphreys is what you needed. London Humphreys is Kearis Jackson, in my opinion.
Love it. You got any other?
No, I'm good.
All right. So we obviously did film study the last couple of days on this football game, watched both sides of the football. We put up over 2 hours of film study on this singular game. And here's the deal. Gone relatively viral in the Tennessee space already for kind of putting Tim Banks on blast for playing way too much man-to-man. I wish we had a full staff of people that I didn't feel bad about doing something like this. Hey, buddy, go chart how many times they played zone, how many times they played man, come back to me. Because I watched these games. I watched 96 clips, right? Back to back. Bam, 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 bam. Take my notes, and then I walk away with it. And here's the reason why I walked away thinking, damn, he died on the man-to-man hill. Because he did. He died on the man-to-man hill every single critical down. All right? I think the first play of the game is pretty damn critical down, don't you, boys?
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty damn critical down. Walks out there man-to-man coverage with a first-time starting freshman out there over Colby Young. Ooh, 60 yards to the face. It's a good way to start for a football team, especially for a quarterback on the road in front of 103,000. Let's get a nice hot start with a deep ball. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, hey, biggest play of the football game, arguably biggest play in the recent history in this football game. 4th and 7. Guess what they're playing, boys?
Man.
They're playing man-to-man coverage. Guess what they get, boys? A switch release. It's really, really hard to play man-to-man coverage in the SEC. All right? Especially when you're a freshman. Especially when they switch release you. Especially when it's London Humphreys in front of me and Zachariah Branch behind them. What do? Oh, my God, there he goes behind my face. All right? The other critical down. Zachariah Branch, zero check. Screen pass to the touch, to the door. 45 yards for a score. Now, why did it happen? Because it's 3rd and 7 and we're zero pressuring the quarterback who has an automatic zero check. It's built in. No, let's not make him sift through zones. Let's not make him filter through zones. Let's just let him play, dude football. There's my dude over there. He's going to beat your dude. Let's just throw him the ball 45 to our face. Another one, 2-point conversion, 38-36. Georgia's got to have it. If they don't get it, it doesn't really matter. They're going to have to burn timeouts to get the ball back. What are they in? You guessed it, cover 0. What do they get? They get picked. And it's a 38-38 ball game. So, hey, you could do one of two things. You could say here, hey, great on Georgia. Great on Georgia, they won. All right, every time they caught him in man-to-man, Tim Banks tried to play a lot more zone than he normally does, but every time they tried to play man-to-man, they got beat. You could say that, or you could say, ooh, maybe we should have varied the looks one of those critical downs, just once or twice. Like, for example, 4th and 7. 4th and 7 should not be as simple as my guy's going to beat his guy over there. I don't think. I had a source text me and said, had they dropped 8, this is a good what if. Had they dropped 8, we lose the football game. Had they dropped 8, we lose the football game on 4th and 7.
Man.
It was so obvious to me and to everyone who watched this network that though Tennessee may be bad at zone coverage, maybe it's not their identity, it sure as hell made Gunnar Stockton uncomfortable the first 2 weeks of the season. When Marshall's rushing 3 and dropping 8, when Austin Peay's rushing 4 and dropping 7 into zone coverages, they sure as hell looked uncomfortable offensively from Georgia. So I I don't know. I just assume my football players at Tennessee might be able to play some zone coverage decently, like halfway decent. And I saw it. Like you saw some of the zone coverage throws that Gunner made. It didn't look confident. It didn't look 3-step, 1-hitch, ball out. It looked 3-step, 1-hitch, ball tap, ball out. That's totally different. That's especially in front of 103,000. So I thought that was very, very weird to me, and thought it was still worth. Granted, hey, kudos to you for playing more zone covers than you normally have per my sourcing, per an actual advanced analytic department that could run the data on that. I don't have the time to sit down and say they played 33 snaps of cover 1, 37 snaps of cover 2, 30. Yeah, I don't have the time. I wish I did. The Josh McCray wrinkles in this offense were really impressive. They gain a first down in the middle of that stall that Tennessee's having offensively off 3 straight runs from McCray. It's, I'm big, I'm going to get 4 yards. It's, I'm big, I'm going to get 3 yards. And then it's 3rd and 3. They hop in the eye with King, or what we call Queen, where we offset the fullback opposite of the strength. All right, that's Queen. King would be...
Well, I
offset him to the strength.
Sorry,
okay. No, you're good. It's all good. So they put him in Queen and hit him at fullback and then gave him a nice little ISO run there as well and picked up a first down. So all the little wrinkles for him were really, really impressive in this football game as well. We talked about it last week. Didn't need Gunner Stockton to be a superhero, but he had to be a playmaker, right? He had to make plays at certain times. It was going to be inevitable in this football game. They're going to put it at his feet at some point. 4th and 7, massive play. The video I tweeted out was a 3rd and 7 where he's just getting absolutely obliterated from the right side, and he just completes a ball to Zach Branch. There's multiple institutes of that. There's another one where he's play action rollout, hitting Oscar Delp to his left, where he's getting blown up, and just same play. He duck farted last week. Okay, same exact play where he's on the goal line, he gets hit, and he just can't quite complete the ball. You got to be a playmaker. He was exactly that. And I told you, you did it all without a right tackle. Did it all without a right tackle. I thought it was impressive, man. I thought it was impressive that you scored 44 points. You rushed for 200 plus yards, threw for 300, 500 total yards of offense, 0 false starts on the road, 11 new running concepts, okay? And did it all without a right tackle, essentially, for 50 minutes. Thank God Bo Hewley came in the football game and solidified some pass rush for you guys, or else I don't know if it ends up like it does, okay? Deserves a game ball. He will probably get one. So that is that offensively. That all that being said, okay, I just want to walk you through several very big plays in this football game that were pivotal for you, okay? And they all involve screen passes. They all involve screen passes. One is obvious. This is Zachariah Branch touchdown. That is a player at the line of scrimmage getting into what we call a zero check because he's recognizing 0 blitz from the defense. They're sending everybody at me. I don't have time to go through a full progression on 3rd and 7. I got to get the ball out. It ends up in a touchdown for them. Also, not to mention the London Humphreys, not the 4th and 7 touchdown, but the other one that ends up in a touchdown. You know what that's off of, right? That's off of a fake screen. We only get double move opportunities like that if we get the defense to suck up. Also, you people that complain about screens are the same people that complain about Mike Bobo running it up the middle. I'm good. I'm good on offense. Y'all want the defensive notes?
Let's hear.
Got to play the ball better in the air. My God.
Yep.
Panics. Can't be doing that. Now, Chris Brazel's a dude. I believe that. I was unfamiliar with his game. They are much more complicated to defend nowadays because they're actually playing like not gimmicky, sticky football. They're playing a real offense. It's like watching Texas and the wide choice offense morph, and it's really, really hard to defend. So there is that. But we got to play the ball much calmer in the air.
Before you go on to a different note, I felt like watching it in the booth and watching the replays now on that final Chris Brazel touchdown, I thought Daniel Harris played that ball perfectly.
Yeah, you said he tipped it into him.
Yeah, it hits Daniel's hand first, and then it like goes into like Chris Brazel catches it. Like, not to say that it was like a luck by chance, it just bounced his way. He caught the ball, but Daniel got his hand on the ball first. He just wasn't able to bat it out. But yeah, me and you, I feel like me and you watched it happen the entire time. Like, for some reason, my eyes were locked on to Daniel Harris for that entire play. And as soon as Joey threw the ball, I'm like, oh, that's picked. Like there's no way that ball, or at least there's no way that ball is getting completed. He was in phase the whole time. Wide receiver just made a better play.
I was more asking, like, did you feel the same way about that one? Or
yeah, I mean, I thought thought he might have jumped a little bit early. The thing about that is when the ball's 60 yards downfield and it's coming down on you like that, you have to time those things perfectly.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. It's why their system is what their system is. But they earned the right, and we showed that on the film study. Tennessee earned the right to take those shots. They were in far more 2nd and 4s in this football game than they'd ever been in against you guys. Normally, they're in 2nd and 9s because they can't run the ball. So they actually got to some run, success because of what they were doing offensively and what they've continued to do. I've already showed you the coaching adjustment. I thought that was magical. All right. It was really, really fun to watch Schumann get punched in the face and then be like, okay, on the fly, midway through the second quarter, start to change the picture on him, start to tweak what he's doing with his nickel defenders and his curl flat players, right? Really taking away what Heupel's doing. And then Heupel, almost for like a quarter, I'm not going to say sacrificed wide receivers, but sacrificed wide receivers continued to run them into those nickel defenders, all to set up that double move to Braylon Staley. It was like watching two magicians go at it, right? Two really, really savants at the play calling positions really like work to find advantages and set one another up. I thought it was really, really fun to watch today in film study. Got a couple of numbers I want to give shout outs to. I thought these guys played really, really well. Elijah Griffin, my God.
Yeah.
They rushed for 200 yards without Elijah Griffin on the field, I think. Jonell Aguero had his best game of his career. Also, thought it was really cool. They finally switched KJ and Jonell. Did y'all notice that? Are we the only network to point that out?
So far,
probably are. It'll be talked about. I'm sure Kirby will get asked about it tomorrow now. But yeah, they finally did it. We've been talking about it all offseason. What happens if you don't think 8 can cover? What happens if y'all get into automatic passing down where it's like, hey, what should we do with 8? They put him at deep safety and they let KJ play the nickel on the interception. That's why Jonell's over there. He plays it perfectly. He plays midfield safety like he'd been doing it all high school. Because he'd been doing it all high school. Star is new to him, right? He got to Georgia and started playing that, and I thought it was neat to notice that. KJ had a great game, obviously. Who is number 6?
Dalen Everett?
Dalen Everett, lockstep. Jordan Hall. Kyron Jones had a great game. Ja'Cory Thomas came in and tackled really, really well, though I think he got beat up a little bit in pass protection or in pass coverage. I think those are 2 playoff teams, boys.
Certainly
they
feels
certainly
that
looked
way.
like it on Saturday.
I think those are 2 playoff teams, and here's why. Tennessee has to go 1-1 against Bama and Oklahoma, and it's going to be a tough task, don't get me wrong, but I think they can do it. And I think they should handle Mississippi State, Vandy, Florida, and Kentucky. All right, I'm allowing them another loss, and I don't think they're going to lose at home. All right, that's a really, really good football team, and they're not even close to healthy. They're out 2 defensive tackles. Their right tackle, who played great in this football game, 72, is going to kick into guard if and when David Sanders gets healthy. I would imagine if they are in a playoff run, Jermod McCoy comes back to this roster. Ricky Gibson's going to come back at some point. They are a playoff football team, in my opinion. I think Georgia, I told you, if they get out of that one, they're going to be a playoff team. I think Georgia's floor right about now is 11-1 because I see what Texas is doing. I didn't think Texas was going to have a great shot at Georgia even when I thought Arch Manning was going to be Arch Manning. All right, he looks very, very controllable, as does the offense always does when they come to town to play Georgia. Ole Miss, you get that one at home. I feel good about it. All right, we'll see about next week.
This may be a dumb question. If it is, just tell me that it's stupid. But it's just a question I have. We've seen how Heupel has really changed what they're doing offensively this year. They're not as much wide choice as they have been in years prior. And I feel like that them being wide choice, while it didn't give them an advantage against a team like Georgia, it certainly did against everybody else.
I disagree. I think everybody in our defensive or in our SEC culture is trying to mimic a 4-2-5 mint. Everybody's throwing it. Everybody's trying to do some version of that, or 3-3-5, and which hasn't gotten its way into this conference. Most teams are still 4-2-5 based. I feel like the more Tennessee throws at you, the harder they become to defend. That's the way I think about it, because it's more pace, it's more to worry about, it's more stressors, it's more opportunities for them to earn their right into 2nd and 2. They had no screen game in years prior, which means if they ever ran up into a box that they couldn't run up against, they were screwed, and that's not the case anymore. So I think they're going to be really, really hard to defend. They were Saturday. They're going to continue.
Oh no, yeah,
for sure.
I wasn't trying to demean the offense.
No. It's not a stupid question at all, because it did give some teams problems because most teams can't cover.
That was my whole
most
point.
Teams can't do what they do.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, guess what they're going to do? They're going to revert back and go do what you can't cover because he's a great coordinator.
No doubt about that.
I mean, it's just, and I said this Sunday. The SEC is almost guaranteed annually to get 3 conference members into the playoff. Find me 2 teams better than these 2 right now. And you'd say Oklahoma, and I'd be like, all right, there's your 3rd. And maybe you'd argue for LSU. Maybe. I would argue for LSU. There's 4. All right, so one of those teams is going down over the rest of the year. What's the panic meter like, guys? Oh, first of all, I got to talk about this. I love watching this football team. I love knowing that they're going to fight. I love knowing that they're going to play it right. I love knowing that they're going to fight through the echo of the whistle. I love knowing that wide receivers block with their face. I love that they don't care about whatever it is, right? I love watching them. I love good football. Y'all have known that about me forever. They're playing good football.
Certainly playing disciplined football.
Yeah.
Like something that was missing from
football.
last year's team. Very disciplined football.
Panic meter.
Are you worried? I'm worried from the standpoint of you put it on tape and now people are going to think that they can do that. And this happened several years ago, all right? I think it was the year Tyke Smith balled out. All right, you go to Auburn and Auburn gets you on a couple of verticals in the slot. And then that was just the recipe for everybody if they ever wanted to get an explosive against you. Kent State did it. Georgia Tech did it with Nick Singleton. Like, this will happen. And I would imagine if one's out there until he can show that he's not going to panic with the ball in there. Same thing with 7 to an extent. You're probably going to see some of these balls get yossed downfield a good bit.
Here's what worries me more than anything. I don't think that... I mean, the reality of it is on Saturday... You're a Daniel Harris play and Ellis Robinson tackling Chris Brazil from probably 14 points getting taken off the board. Or we'll say 7 because Tennessee's offense was humming on that second drive. I don't think that worries me as much as just eye discipline. On that second touchdown over the middle, KJ Bolden jumps the route too early. We talk about the cross that it turns into a vertical. Things like that you're not typically seeing, and it's just because of an experience thing. So as we go down the season, this team will get better in that. KJ Bolden is your most experienced safety in that room right now, and I think he made his 15th or 16th start of his career on Saturday. So they're a young room. And we talked about all offseason of how, hey, this is probably the room that concerns us most simply because of the amount of buys they've had to throw out of it, the amount of people that you lost from last year. So I'm concerned about the safety room from eye discipline. But overall, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button. I'm not coming out and saying, oh my God, we gave up 41 points to Tennessee. We've never given up 20 points to them. This defense is terrible this year. Fire the DBs coach. Kirby needs to go. Glenn Schumann, it's time for none of that is happening right now.
They took 77 snaps, did Tennessee's offense. I think I saw 2 missed tackles. Jonell on a slant and Joseph Jonah in the backfield got spun by Stark Thomas.
Correct. Yeah.
That wasn't the case last year. They were a bad tackling football team last year. So that's totally different.
There were more reasons to be excited and say, hey, this is good. This is an improvement from last year than there are to go, it's time to panic.
I mean, the fact that I think one reason why you shouldn't panic is if the fact that Kirby Smart is undefeated in games in which their opponent scores 30 or more points, that was a mind-boggling stat for me, by the way.
Which he scores.
Yeah, he scores 35.
30 or more. Okay.
35 or
still,
more.
35 or more points. So, in other words, if you get in a shootout with Kirby Smart, if that's what it boils down to, clearly you're going to be all right. But also, I wouldn't panic because I did some research today, just kind of know. And I know that there's certainly some panic right now because, we got Alabama next. And our defense just put that on tape. What's going to happen? Well, I broke down the numbers to find out what exactly Georgia's defenses do under Kirby Smart after allowing 30 more points. It has happened 13 times under Kirby Smart since 2017. In their next games, opponents are averaging 17.3 points per game, and Kirby Smart is 11-2 in those matchups. In 9 of those games, opponents failed to score 20 or more points. The last time Kirby Smart lost a game after allowing 30 or more points was the 2018 Sugar Bowl against the Texas Longhorns.
So, it doesn't happen that often.
No.
When it does, they correct it pretty quickly.
And, it happens relatively often for the Heupel guy. That Heupel guy scores 40-plus in 55% of his games.
Yeah, dude.
It's rather impressive. I'm a solid 2.7 out of 10. 1 is cool, calm, and collected. I'm chilling. 10 is burn the boats. I'm at a 2.7.
I'll go a 3 here. I think it's definitely something to keep your eyes on. I think if you told me that, hey, you lose a game because of this at some point in the season, I would say I understand that, but I don't think it's like this is going to cost us the national championship.
You know what the good news is about that? If you take away one thing out of that game, you got stops when you needed them.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you're down 21-7, and it's like, all right, defense, y'all better show some life or we're going to get our doors blown off. Almost 2 full quarters of stagnation from Tennessee. And then you get into the overtime, you need one stop. Bam, you get it. And you get the ball back and walk it down the throat.
Holding them to a field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, holding them to a field goal at the end of the game was impressive as well.
Like, had to get the stop.
Yeah, I'm more panicking about what's going on at right tackle right about now. And look, Bo came in that game and he played his butt off. And I'm going to start him this week or next week against Alabama if Juan Gaston ain't healthy. And that's fine. We'll go with that. And he'll play his butt off and he'll effort and he'll actually be able to pass protect. He's athletic enough to stay in front of basically anybody. But people keep asking me, why did it take so long to go to him? Right? You try to play Ernest. Ernest is very clearly hurt. Very clearly not himself, or just very clearly not putting good tape on. So then you throw Unai in there and then it's, oh my God, he's a turnstile. And then you throw Bo Hughley out there. My only reasoning would be what we've seen on tape from Bo so far. He's not great in the run game right now. He plays overextended and he gets snatched down on his face. All that being said, so was 52. 52 is out there getting rag tossed by folks. So, like, I'm with you. Probably should have happened a little bit earlier. Probably won't be a problem moving forward. Thank God you got away with it. You know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. All right. Game balls, boys. Who's it going to? Offense. I'm giving it to Gunnar Stockton, obviously, and shout out Mike Bobo.
Those are strong candidates. I gave mine to Bo Hughley.
Attaboy.
Way to step up in a major moment for you, Bo. And the fact that, like, just seeing his reaction to, like, getting his opportunity on the field in a major moment and seeing the emotion on his face and knowing, like, the weight of that moment to him, I thought that was really cool. So shout out to Bo Hughley. You get a game ball from me.
Also, him and Donnie Glover probably been doing combos together for, like, 7 years, maybe even longer than that.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I mean, they put Langston Hughes together. I know Bo's a couple years older, but they've been playing alongside or with one another in the same unit for a long time, and you could see it when they were playing together on Saturday.
There's a lot of guys you could have given game balls to offensively. I ultimately went with London Humphreys because of the clutchness of the 2 catches that you made and the overall effort that you had in that performance. But like you said, I think Zachariah Branch is absolutely in order for a game ball here. I mean, he also had 2 catches that ended up winning you the game. One that performance that I think went very, very under the radar was Lawson Lucky's.
Yeah.
He was the best blocking tight end on Saturday. And that says a lot because we've talked about how Oscar Delp is one of the best blockers on the team. We've had you want to plug that real quick?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. Keep finishing yours.
All right, we've had...
That's a good one, too. Look at that. Ooh.
We've had Todd Hartley talk about how Oscar Delp is one of the most natural blockers he's ever seen. All of that stuff. So the fact that Lawson Lucky played the game that he did was very, very promising for that.
Why was he standing there like a kid that just threw up on his shirt in school?
Why are you talking shit when I'm walking away?
I wasn't. Wasn't at all.
Defensive game balls, I think that the first one is fairly obvious. Jonel Aguero, in my opinion, had the best game he's ever had in a Georgia jersey. Gave up some passes. I know everyone's going to talk about that 3rd and 8 on man. That's a tough route to cover on there. A 10-yard out route where the receiver's going to push off of you. Very, very tough to cover. I felt Jonel Aguero was setting the tone defensively as well.
I gave Jonel the game ball not just because he had a great game, but I thought it was very interesting to hear Kirby Smart talk about him after the game and say that preparing for teams like this that play with pace, it stresses him out. It makes him kind of anxious leading up to the game. He didn't use the word nervous, but that's kind of what he was getting at, of like these types of games make Jonel very nervous, and he answered the call with flying colors. I thought Jonel had a fantastic game. There was questions in the offseason about can he cover. He certainly answered that, and he's still bringing the hammer every single time. So he gets a game ball from me.
As does whoever made the decision to maybe inverse him and KJ every once in a while. He looked confident running play middle field safety. Really, really confident. I can't wait to watch him stick somebody from middle field. You think he hits people hard as Star? Wait until you see that sucker running downhill. Go watch his huddle from high school. It's nothing but kill shots left and right from the center field safety position.
For sure. Who'd you have from special teams?
Their kicker?
Ineligible.
God, that poor kid. He didn't have a chance.
No, he didn't.
Man.
Oh, he knew it was coming down to him, and he
The
was
look
like,
on his face is the same face I make when my head's in my phone and my wife's talking to me and I'm going, and she goes, if you're listening to me, what did I just say? And I look at her like,
oh, it's brutal, man.
that kid's face.
Brutal.
Brutal.
Hate that for a kid.
And the fact that, like, they flashed up the graphic, like, has never had to kick a game-winning field goal in overtime or the fourth quarter.
They, what do you call that? Broadcaster's curse? They broadcast curse?
Yeah, the jinx.
That's tough, man.
The jinx is usually when you say he hasn't missed.
Yeah, this dude's lights out.
He's
Ain't missed
never
one in
missed.
6 years.
I'd like to also say, like, I know that there's tons of videos of this circulating now, so everybody's aware of this, but so where Kirby and I were sitting in the press box, we're kind of at an angle toward the right side of the field goal post, okay? So we're behind Tennessee's bench all the way up at the top of the stadium. So we don't really have a great angle to tell if the ball is going through the uprights. So we just see that the ball is certainly long enough to go into the uprights. And the fans sitting in the end zone, there's a portion of them that start jumping up and down. So like everybody in the press box is like, oh, Tennessee just won the game. And then you just see Georgia's sideline celebrating like there's no crowd pop. It's like, oh, he missed it. And then you see the replay on the TV. It's like, oh, that ball never had a chance. And there's people in the stands like, oh, my gosh, we just won. And no.
Bro, off the hoof immediately.
Yeah.
Way right. Tough. Apparently, he likes the ball in the middle, though. They were working hard to get that ball in the middle.
Man, oh, man.
Speaking of working hard, let's talk to some of these super chubs right here. Habazinga says, are y'all still sleeping on Oklahoma? No, I don't think anybody's out here sleeping on Oklahoma. We actually included them in one of the... I said them first before LSU with regards to who's a guaranteed playoff team right now. CFB Predict said, how'd y'all do with your against the spread picks last week? Anyone hit 70% or just us? Should we be fading Brooks and J. Will's best bets or just down in the CFB Predict? Is this a plug?
Yeah.
I love a plug. I love you paying $20 for a plug. That's fine.
Should definitely be fading Brooks's bet.
100% fade me. I mean, but here's the good news. Ain't nobody up there close to 500 right about now.
Yeah.
You know, we're you either go with us or fade with us, one or the other. Right now, fade my butt. Ain't no way about it. Better than my barber does. Fade me up, okay? Chop it up. Tim Austin says, love the film breakdown for Tennessee's offense. Heupel has definitely evolved. Yes, he has. White Tonto says, oh, by the way, we need to put some of these on the board. White Tonto definitely needs to be on the board. Huge Georgia fan. I love this year's team and love Gunner. He's the best football player playing quarterback this year, but Carson Beck is the best quarterback playing football this year, hands down. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Gunner is a football player playing quarterback. Carson is playing the best quarterback position. I'm in agreement. Love the vids. Keep grinding that tape. Shout out to Austin Kroger. Crosby says, first time gifter, but been here since the first of Friday Night Lights. How do you feel about our D-line play Saturday? Who would be your starting 3 or 4? The same rotation he's got. I maybe give Xavier McLeod some of Jordan Hall's reps. I was thinking that before the Tennessee game, but Jordan had his best game of his career, I thought, on Saturday. Great job by 44. Star Wars Dog says over under 17 Bama penalties.
I would take the under on that, but probably going to.
This guy is pretty standard 11 for 110.
They will have a lot of penalties.
They will.
17 is astronomical.
17 is a lot, but honestly, if he has his standard 11, 5 false starts isn't out of the order for a University of Georgia crowd.
No,
it's not. By the way, we went viral for talking about how loud Neyland is. I'm gonna give the boys an opportunity to explain their experiences, but guys, the standard for is our stadium loud should not be Georgia false starts. They don't false start on the road. Y'all don't. We know this because we travel with them every week they go. They have a very, very dedicated plan to avoiding that crap that everybody else has a problem with. Shocker, the great football coach who's won 2 national titles, who most people would vote the number 1 coach of college football, has figured out nonsense on the road, has figured out crowd noise on the road. And it's not because they play loud noises during practice. Everybody does that. It's because they simplify and they execute. All right, so don't be out here judging that. It was loud as piss on Saturday. It was louder than any stadium I've ever been to. Okay, it was plenty loud. They just do a better job of the operation when they go on the road than most teams do.
It was very loud. I can attest to that. Even sitting in the press box to not get full experience.
And it affected, like we saw busted assignments on the offensive film tape. We see all offensive guards smacking into each other. I see Michael Morris going the wrong way. Like it affected some of the things, some of the communication, right? Busted assignments. But no, it did not create false starts. Also, Really easy to hear that over piercing 130 decibels. I hate to tell y'all that. But I'm standing in the end zone, and no matter how loud y'all are, still can hear it. Okay? Still can hear it.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, even with the press box, it's enclosed, and so like it really deafens a lot of the sound in there. It's very clear that it was very, very, very loud in that stadium. Maybe not for all 4 quarters and every single play that Georgia had on offense, but when they needed to get loud and for the moments that deserved it, it was very, very loud.
Extremely.
ISO to homie J Will. ISO to homie J Will. We got a big stretch ISO coming up. Big stretch ISO coming up. Hey, J Will, you had a tremendous observation about Tennessee's, student section and Tennessee's crowd in general. The last time we were there, I left with the notion of they were miles ahead of everybody else with regards to crowdsourcing the NIL based off just going and grabbing a water at the concession stand and them asking me, instead of, do you want to tip the concession stand worker, do you want to contribute to Tennessee's NIL foundation? I thought that was brilliant. You noticed another portion of brilliance from their athletic administration.
Yeah, I actually caught this from an interview with I believe it was a University of Tennessee student who was not going to the game, and they were asked, why are you not going to the game? Why did you not get tickets? And she goes on to talk about how you earn T-points at Tennessee. As students can earn T-points, and that's how you earn tickets to football games. How do you earn those points? Well, you go to basketball games, you go to baseball games, and you go to all other athletic activities, and not only do you go to them to earn points, but it tracks how long you stay at these events, and the longer you stay, the more points that you earn. So in other words, in order to get football tickets, you have to be a fan of your team. You have to go and put in effort to other sporting events and actually be a proud student of the athletic program at the university. So I think that that's what Georgia should do. Right now, Georgia does a lottery ticket system for football games. Everything else, you can just go and show up, whatever, but it's a lottery system, and I don't necessarily agree with that because, one, I think that everybody should have an opportunity to go to football games. And at that point, it's in your hands if you get to go to football games next year. It's on your doing of, did you go to baseball games? Did you go to the basketball games? Did you go to gymnastics? Like, did you do all of those things to make sure that you could get football tickets? And I've kind of already described how I think that the students should obviously be the best fans in a football stadium at all times. Not that Georgia isn't. I think Georgia has a great student section, and a bunch of them show up every single time. But I think that doing it this way, you would get your true diehard fans in that football stadium, people that actually want to be there, people that will stay for all 4 quarters, and people that will show up for every single matchup. I think that would be the best way to do football tickets moving forward. If you have a point system and you go to other events to earn those points, and then you decide whether or not you're going to get football tickets next year.
I mean, worst case scenario, it makes the frat boys show up on time.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
It's not even the showing up on time for me. It's the leaving at halftime. I feel like for the last year and a half, you look up from the press box.
Even during conference games,
at
you're
halftime,
right.
You're like, my God, the stadium's 60% full now. It was, a sold out crowd 2 hours ago. So that's what I think is most bothersome. Like the Auburn game last year, I think it was there was a 10-point game at halftime, and fans were leaving. It's like, guys, come on.
I get it. I like this from a student section standpoint.
Yeah, this is just students, by the way.
The people that are awarded those tickets should have done something to earn them, not just be gifted them. Also, like the idea that people at Georgia are gifted tickets and don't show up, that's crazy to me. That would never happen under this system. It can't happen. You'll never get another ticket. You have to earn it. Also, why do they have such great environments everywhere else? It might be because of this. Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Georgia doesn't. I'm not saying their student section doesn't show up for other sports, but it's nuts at some of these Tennessee events, and this is why.
Well, Georgia also rises to the occasion. I think that what we're seeing for the most part is a little bit of stagnation in the games that you don't need the crowd to be an absolute deciding factor where,
This is true. We haven't seen a fourth quarter the Georgia Tech game last year, but that was on a Friday after Thanksgiving.
It was on a Friday after Thanksgiving.
We haven't seen a fourth quarter in Sanford Stadium, insane environment, 2 top 5 opponents. We haven't seen an environment like what we just saw in Tennessee in a long time in the fourth quarter in Athens, have we?
I think the last one you could have classified would have been Missouri in 2023.
But they were like 20th, weren't they?
No, they were in the top 15.
Okay.
It was a big game.
Was it raining?
No, that's the Nas Stackhouse interception.
Okay. All right. Arkansas at home at noon a couple years ago.
That was crazy.
Beat the dog doo-doo out there.
But everybody stayed.
So quick.
Same thing for Tennessee in 2022. They stayed the whole time.
But to your point, there was excitement and it was new.
Yeah.
Hey,
for sure.
That type of domination was new to
we
you.
got a national championship team potentially here. I want to see this.
Yeah.
Now you're 5 years into this regime of like, yeah, this is expected of us now. So fans, it's also expected of you to show up and be great.
We just ISO'd the stretch. Hey, you got another take as well.
Yeah, I do actually. So there's been a lot of narratives going around after this game that Josh Heupel lost Tennessee the game against Georgia because of his conservative play calling. For those of you who don't know, Tennessee gets the strip sack fumble. They're up 35-30. They run the ball 3 times. It's in the fourth quarter. They kick a field goal eventually, and the game is 38-30. There's a large fraction of people that claim you should have gone for the kill there. You had Joey Aguilar, should have gone for that touchdown. And to those people, I would say, that is, if that's the only reason you think Tennessee lost, it's ludicrous. I'm going to map out a game for you. An undefeated Tennessee is hosting a team they haven't beaten in years. Thanks to a historic day from a transfer quarterback and a wide receiver, you have a 21-7 lead at the end of the first quarter. But your opponent comes back, they fight back, and by the time you get to the half, it's a really close game. Then what ensues in the second half, you have a back-and-forth exciting matchup with just minutes to go. The game is tied in a high-scoring affair, but Tennessee has the ball at the final minutes. They drive down the field for a chance to kick the game-winning field goal. Do you guys know what game I just laid out?
No.
That's Alabama versus Tennessee 2022. It plays the exact same way as it did for Georgia on Saturday. The only difference from, hey, this is Josh Heupel's signature win, the greatest game that the Tennessee Vols have ever played. I'm getting his face tattooed on my body, and hey, Josh Heupel lost Tennessee this game because of his conservative play calling, was the fact that the field goal didn't go in. And that's the reality of it. And I think that it's irresponsible as a fan to say, oh, well, this lost in the game off of one play. If that field goal goes through, if Tennessee hits that and they win 41-38, no one says Josh Heupel called a conservative game. No one says all these negative things. And I think it's kind of asinine for people to say that Josh Heupel lost this game. The only difference between I love Josh Heupel, that was the greatest win we've seen of all time. Finally, we get Georgia done, and he played conservative. He coached
Ironically enough, it was his defensive coordinator that didn't play conservative enough.
That's and that's what the funny part is to me is like, to go for some very few people, this niche reference will make sense. If you've ever played Modern Warfare 2 of Call of Duty, there's a quote from General Shepard ahead of the last mission: "History is written by the victor." If Josh Heupel wins that game Saturday, no one questions him. That's his signature moment. Greatest win he's had of all time. But the fact is, because you didn't make the game-winning field goal, it's not. And I feel like that's irresponsible of fans to get mad at him.
Also, I would say that there's...
Hold on. I am not going to allow a Winston Churchill quote to be accredited to Modern Warfare 2. I will not allow that to happen. Despite the fact that I am a football-brained SOB. I will not allow that to happen on this network. I tried to slip
it past, dude.
I was like, no way. Absolutely not. Granted, Google's my friend, but no, I will not allow a Winston Churchill quote like that to be credited.
I didn't want to quote Churchill, dude. It was cool to quote Shepard.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, you're right.
Good on you, Kirby.
General Shepard said, Winston Churchill, sorry, bro.
I think the bigger mishap, though, in those closing moments was the fact that you had an offensive lineman have a false start in a moment where, like, of all moments during a football game, as an offensive lineman, you are told, we cannot jump early. That is certainly one of them. When you're just chewing clock, you're trying to get the field goal set up, like, of all moments, and you're at home, like, that is one that you cannot have a false start on. Not to say that he would have made it if they didn't get the penalty, but that certainly didn't help you. I think that was a bigger mishap of more than any coaching decision that Josh Heupel made.
By the way, I think people forget, on that drive where you get the fumble and you have a potential chance to go up 35, go up 40 to 30, 42-20, or whatever it is, have the chance to go for the kill shot, you immediately start the drive with a false start. It's 1st and 15 off the bat. You're playing behind the sticks.
How about the absolute balls to throw it to the tight end, Miles Kitselman, right there before they missed the field goal?
Yeah.
To pick up a first down.
Yeah.
Completely unneeded. They could have just sat there, kneed on the ball, kicked a 42-yarder. And they end up getting that sucker down to like a 35-yarder, and he pushes it right or something like that. But, I mean, there was a there was a lack of aggression on 3rd and 7 right there after the fumble. But, dude, I say this all the time. They're one block away. They're one block away from that play being a total different outcome and everybody thinking, oh, my God, he's a genius. He broke a tendency on 3rd and 7.
I mean, that's literally how
football.
It's how the Alabama game played out. And I was shocked at how similar those two things were. Tennessee had a 21-7 lead at the end of the first quarter. Alabama came storming back. You had a back and forth in the second half to the point where the game was tied with just minutes to go. Tennessee had the ball, opportunity to kick the game-winning field goal, and they did. Fields gets rushed. Josh Heupel, they're smoking the cigars, all of that. It's great. It was the exact opposite result for Georgia this time.
Man, I was not prepared to be stormed, but they were about to.
Oh, it would have been a zoo.
It would have been way worse than Ole Miss.
Oh, 100%.
Way worse than Ole Miss.
100%.
It would have been kind of fun, though.
Because there's a difference in...
Chaos is awesome.
There's a difference in Ole Miss beating Georgia, and it's like, oh, yeah, we got the upset, and a fan base that has watched their team lose to the same team 8 years in a row, in brutal fashion, by the way. Like, there's a major difference. And, of course, Georgia and Tennessee are rivals as well. So, there's a lot of pent-up, not anger, but pent-up, emotion behind that fan base. So if they would have gotten stormed the field, it would have been absolutely nuts.
All right, Kirby, you were with me in 2023 when we made the trip to Knoxville. Jay Will, it was your first time up there. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on your trip to Knoxville.
So growing up, I was not fond of Tennessee fans.
Fond, yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh, my bad. I heard it funny.
I was not fond of Tennessee fans. They had very much been a loud and boisterous bunch, and they beat Georgia a lot more. I was in Sanford Stadium for the 2016 Hobnail Boot. Dobbs-nail boot is what they call it. Mm-hmm. All of the fun stuff like that. I grew up despising Tennessee fans. The last two trips and the last interactions I've had since working on this show have been extremely positive. Not only have they been extremely positive, they've been extremely hospitable, coming in with opening arms, and they were not, dare I say, a pleasantry to be around. I mean, the brewery we went to on Friday night, everyone there was great. Everyone was respectful. Even after the game when we're walking back on Saturday, yes, you had a couple of boisterous people. Someone called you out. That was fun. But for the most part, excuse me's, hey, man, that was a great game, all of those types of things. And it's not like we were out there talking trash and we didn't have any Georgia gear on, but just the overall vibe, so much more respectful. And I feel kind of guilty for hating Tennessee fans all that time. Now, the Twitter ones, you guys are crazy and I'm never going to deal with y'all. But for the most part, Tennessee fans have really won me over these last 2 seasons.
Hey, anytime you open up your tailgate with open arms and you give us food or drinks, and not just saying that's all I care about is that you're feeding me, but you also do it with grace and you're talking to us and you're just like, the hospitality was tier 1. That's what I said in comments this past weekend. And then also, like we were talking about, the people that we got to hang out at the brewery. I mean, it was just fantastic people to be around, just talk football with, that appreciate what we do. We also appreciate those people as well. Like, you love our work. We love you back as well. Like, it was just a really neat experience to kind of feel out the town with people that know it and that will show you around and like just kind of educate you a little bit. I just thought it was a great time.
And even saying like, oh, they were nice too because you guys didn't have Georgia jerseys on. I watched Georgia and Tennessee fans have respectful interactions. Now, obviously,
we had Georgia fans show up to the tailgate we were at.
Yeah,
we were at the Tennessee tailgate spot, and we had 3 Georgia fans roll right up, and it was, hey, what can we get you? Thank you for your service. One of them was a serviceman. I was as polite as can be. Now, granted, an hour later, 2 Tennessee fans got in a pretty viral shouting match right there where we were. But, hey, them 2 Tennessee fans going at each other, not Georgia Tennessee fans.
So, yeah, very, very pleasant. I don't want to say surprise because it was a surprise in 2023. This year was more like this was a validation of what I thought. Knoxville is a great town. Too much orange, though.
I think the fan bases are relatively similar as well. Just fanatical.
Oh, yeah.
They're totally different than most SEC fan bases, I feel like. And they want to know why. They're ball curious. I think it's why we work so well in both markets. People want to understand why their football team worked or didn't work. They want to know why. They're not just yelling at the clouds wondering and instead of asking why it's raining. I think that's tremendous about those folks as well. How about a PBJ beer?
Dude, I was about to say also,
we can't go without talking about some PBJ beer.
They make some phenomenal beer up there in Knoxville.
XUL Brewery?
Yeah, XUL or Zool Brewery. They got a peanut butter and jelly beer up there. And look, your reaction might be the same as I was the first time of like, that doesn't sound too good. I had about 4 of those.
Let's call it 5.
We'll call it 5.
Lost count.
They were very tasty. Very good. I will just leave it at that. And
J-Will, did you ever notice that McDonald's doesn't offer tomato?
that is wild to me, by the way.
Absolutely wild.
Why it took me 24 years of my life and maybe some unsober thoughts to get to that point, I don't know. But the fact that we don't get tomato on a hamburger at McDonald's, I think is a bit crazy. Not even offered.
Side conversation between you and I, Kirby. He was so fun Friday night. Mm-hmm. I think once a month we ought to make him maybe come in here a little tipsy. Maybe like 6-7 beers.
Get
in.
home, dude. He's got to drive home.
I'll pay for an Uber. Just for content's purposes.
How's he going to get his car back then?
He's my favorite person intoxicated of all time.
He was
number one.
He was a lot of fun.
Tremendous fun. I haven't
night.
laughed so hard. I was cramping. I was laughing so hard.
Dude, when he was in the bed with his clothes, and I was like, man, Jay, I would hate for you to. Do you want me to go get your bag from the truck?
Yeah, by the way, apparently I asked Kirby to get my bag, and he grabbed everything but my bag.
I fumbled. I forgot, guys. It was dark in the truck. I was looking around. I had like 3 things in my hand. I completely forgot. Completely on me. I felt guilty and was offering like, hey, I can run back out and get it. He's like, no, it's fine. He rolls over in bed. I was like, well, I'd hate for you to like fall asleep in your street clothes, like where you're wearing out to the bars and everything. J-Will sits up like the Undertaker, rips his shirt off and throws it on the ground, slams it on the ground, and goes back to sleep. It was incredible.
Right. Oh, and I got a great rest. I got great sleep that night, to the point where I don't even remember falling asleep. I just woke up and was like, I'm ready for the day now.
That was solid.
Man, that was a good time.
That was solid. My favorite was, we had about a 30-minute ride from Knoxville back to our hotel, and you stuck your head out the window like a golden retriever.
Oh, that fresh air was clutch.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I had a great time with you on Friday night, my man.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And didn't pay for a beer one.
I was about to say, also shout out to the Tennessee fans that picked up the tab.
Pay for a beer one.
That's all I needed to hear.
Boys got out of the entire city of Knoxville without a single bill. How about that?
Yep.
That first bar we stopped at, you had about 4 beers for $12.
Yeah, I did.
I mean,
welcome to college towns.
Absolute hospitality out the wazoo up there in Knoxville. And I think it's only because they love content. I think it's because they love our content. I think the chat is a little bit right. Had we just been the standard Georgia folk, might a little bit.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you're always a little more hostile to people that are coming in from a different team, but like I said, I had a great time out there. It was fun watching J-Will in the wild.
Next stop, Starkville.
So far, I'm the only one who's going to that.
Yeah, what's up with that? Hey, Starkville, Mississippi State SID Department. If y'all listen today, can I get some feedback on that one? Thank you.
Please and thank you.
Thank you. I mean, Tennessee SID Department.
They were on it.
Man, treating us like superstars.
They were good people.
Felt like we were YouTube gold out there.
There were some people on the Tennessee media staff, I guess. I don't know what exactly they were. When me and Jay were, because obviously you're on the field, we're in the press box. We get off the elevator to go into the press box, and someone on the media staff's like, "Hey, film guy."
We were the film guy.
Y'all were the film guy.
We were the film guys.
You weren't
We
even
love
with us.
that.
So a lot of times it's like people recognize you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Books," and they're like, they'll side eye us and be like,
Who are these guys?
These guys.
This guy's got bodyguards?
"We don't know these guys."
I got a noticeable crowd pop from the Tennessee student section and a noticeable crowd pop from the Redcoat band, as always. Some ball knowers in that Redcoat band.
Heck yeah.
Hey, great show tonight, boys. We'll be back tomorrow. Got a film study tomorrow morning for you Texas A&M fans listening today. And, we'll be live tomorrow night as well. I love you. Bye.